Hey everyone, today is Thursday, the 12th of November 2020. This is The Gap, episode 542. I'm Luke Lawrie. Joab Gilroy is here, and it is next gen. It's arrived today, as of this week.
It is. We no longer say next gen.
Current gen.
That's it. We're done with that. Now the current gen. I'm pretty sure we made this joke fucking 8 years ago.
Yeah.
I'm 99% sure. That's it. We've looped back around.
Last week's episode, I think I called the next generation again because I'd already called an episode like 8 years ago, the next generation. So
nice.
And then 8 years from now, we can call it the next generation again. Yeah.
Again. Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah. 8 years from now, when we're still doing this podcast.
That's not happening. No one's going to be alive in 8 years.
No one over where you are, but here we'll be fine. I'm 100,000% sure I've talked about this before, but every single anime that has any like post-apocalyptic scenario, like Macross and shit, Australia is the only place that ever gets completely left alone. Like nobody ever everyone always like goes in Australia, right? Australia's fine, right?
It's too far away.
Too much area to nuke, right? Where I am right now, have you done those? Have you been online and gone to those like what would a bomb do, like a nuke do? Yeah, I've been on there, and I would be fucked. I would be fucked where I am, but it wouldn't be instant. Like that's the thing, right? You want it to be the fucking Flash. And then, 50 years from now, people are like, oh, this dude was just on his way to work. And it's just a shadow of a man fucking holding a fucking briefcase or some shit. You're like, holy fuck, that man was
a PlayStation controller. Like you just picked it up.
Yeah, exactly. But no, where I am, like, it's got like, it does the
you get radiation burn and shit where you are.
Yeah, exactly. You just like painfully die. And you're like, oh, right, that sucks. So yeah, you got to find. You get for not living in the city.
Sweet
spot. Yeah, exactly.
Got to spend those big bucks.
Sure, it's marginally cheaper, but yeah, the existential threat is way higher. Anyway, we're off to this is a bleak start.
It's been a bleak weekend.
Yeah.
Well, no, I guess it started off all right. It's gone downhill.
It's like. It's all over the place. It's like one of those fucking heart monitors. It's like fucking up and down and up and down. Anyway, next generation.
I went away for the weekend, so
I
didn't play a lot of games. I've played 2 games here. One of them I put like 25 hours into.
All right.
But I was basically
like you did play a lot of games.
Yeah, I played a lot of game.
Right.
So we went away for the weekends for like 3 days and. Like no internet. The internet that we could get was like, when you go to like a hotel and you put on the internet and it sort of doesn't connect, but it does, and it takes maybe like 15 minutes to download an email. It was like one of those types of internet.
Sweet.
Yeah, it was great. But so I was kind of out of it for a little while, but I got back, got some codes and jumped straight back into playing games. But you've been playing a bunch of games on next gen. What's any other thoughts since you've been playing with these things a bit more?
I'll tell you what's something else, and I didn't touch on it at all in my reviews or in my chatter last week. Is that both next gen consoles have next gen console apps on your phone.
Yeah.
And the Xbox app fucking pantses the PlayStation app. Holy shit, it is light years better. PlayStation app is functional once you understand what you're doing, and there are still some elements to it that I still just don't understand. Like I can I talked about it a bit in my reviews or my versus piece. I can't remember one or the other, but like our experience with some elements of game culture is different to the regular experience, because we acquire games differently. Like I think it might have been in my PlayStation review, I was talking about that idea of I get all my games via fucking code, right? It's not even like it's just an email shows up in my email, and it says click this link to get a code for blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And you click the link and it takes you it's like a fucking terms and conditions that nobody reads, but you have to read this because it has all of the embargo details in it. And if you don't read it, you fuck up, like I did last week when I was talking about a game that I shouldn't have been.
But nobody knows because I cut it out. I edited it. I'm that good.
Actually, that reminds me. I think, that specifically reminds me. If we successfully cut it out, then I will incriminate myself and say I mentioned last week that there were a bunch of next-gen features, next-gen graphics features. And I was talking about next-gen graphics features in Dirt 5, and I think I had this fucking panic moment right after the end of the podcast. I believe I said it was in Forza Horizon 4. The features I was talking about were in Dirt 5.
I don't remember.
The shadowing and all that kind of shit. That was in Dirt 5 at the time. I believe now Forza Horizon 4 has all kinds of particle, ambient occlusion, blah. It looks phenomenal. It does not have ray tracing. I think only fucking one game? 2 games. No, one. I think one game has ray tracing on the Xbox at the moment. And that would be Watch Dogs Legion.
Right.
It looks good. But anyway, the point I'm making is I said Forza Horizon 4. I meant Dirt 5. I couldn't have said it about Dirt 5 anyway, and I did not deliberately say Forza to get around the fact that I couldn't say Dirt 5. The embargo for Dirt was on Monday, and I mentioned it by mistake. And you play so many fucking this is some fucking boo-hoo shit, but you play so many fucking games that some do bleed together, especially extremely pretty racing games. But yeah, anyway, the mobile apps, the Xbox app is fucking awesome. You can literally connect to it, connect to PlayStation, connect any controller to your fucking phone over Bluetooth, and then you can connect your phone to your Xbox and play Xbox games off your Xbox. I tested it just before, and it works. I wouldn't say it's the best way to play Assassin's Creed Valhalla, but it's certainly a way to do it, and that's pretty fucking phenomenal. Gaetano was saying on Twitter that Gaetano is another game journo from where is he now? Phoenix Bazaar.
Yeah.
He was saying that you can it even works over fucking mobile. So that's pretty fucking cool. But yeah, I was just testing on my home network. I am currently downloading Demon Souls and a couple other Bug Snacks, just all the fucking PlayStation games that weren't available to get Sackboy until launch day. So many of them you couldn't we had to play the console and you just weren't able to play them until launch day for some reason, which is pretty weird. But anyway, so yeah, the mobile it plays really well. It looks pretty cool. It's from it you can immediately tell your console to download games and stuff like that, and it does it all in the background. The thing I found weird is that the light on the Xbox doesn't come on when you play games on it. So it looks like it's still in rest mode, but it's definitely working. It's definitely running. I tested out. I didn't test, but I should get a ping pong ball and put that on it Have you seen those photos?
I have, yeah. People have been putting ping pong balls on top of the fan exhaust, and it's like levitating the ball.
It would be a good test to see if it is actually working, but like
it
was quite hot.
Yeah, you'll melt the ping pong ball.
Yeah, eventually, definitely, and it'll just drip into the cooling.
Those apps, the thing that I really like about them, and again, this could be a very exclusive amount of people that sort of uses it, but it has those you can input like redeem keys on them, and then also click a button that is like download to my PlayStation, and it'll like fire up your PlayStation if you've got that set up on your device. And it used to be really handy when we were allowed outside, but these days not so much because I'm at home anyway. But like I would be out somewhere, and like you said, like we got fucking codes coming through all the time. A code would come through, and I'd jump on the app, redeem the code, and then go like download to PlayStation, and it'd fire up my PlayStation at home and start downloading. That way, when I got back, I wouldn't have to wait a day. I'd only have to wait half a day because the PlayStation would still be downloading by the time I got home.
100%. That works. The PS5 has like low power mode where it's not even like it's downloading at the moment. It's not currently on. Like it's not affecting my network because it downloads so fucking slow. So that's pretty cool. You know, swings and roundabouts, I guess. But yeah, no, it's got all that functionality. It doesn't go much further than that, the PlayStation one, but the Xbox one does, and that's what I think I find so impressive, so much better, which is cool. We'll talk about some other stuff around mobile apps a bit later in the news because they announced some shit today. But yeah,
I heard that you can set up the Xbox through the actual app on the phone or something like that, and it's a lot better than doing it through, I guess, the interface on the console.
Oh well, I did it via the phone, and it took fucking seconds.
Right.
I cannot imagine doing it any other way. It is phenomenal. It is the best fucking setup experience I've ever had for any fucking device ever. Outside of a pair of scissors. Actually, even a pair of scissors is a bad example because how the fuck do you get the scissors out of the fucking case
you need
without the scissors?
Yeah, you need to buy 2 pairs of scissors.
Exactly.
Open one up normally and then cut the other one out with the scissors you've already opened. That's how it works. Yeah, cool. All right. Anything else that's sort of feature-wise you've noticed that's pretty good or not good?
Did you like nothing that I've noticed? Like, I guess I don't know. I just returned to the idea that I have no idea. I don't think either of these consoles should be out at the moment. I just don't think there's enough on them, on either, to warrant having these consoles launch right now. You know, like I said it last week, like the idea of FOMO just shouldn't be there just yet because there just isn't enough.
I mean, Demon Souls we don't know what that's like. That's a PlayStation 5 exclusive. Bug Snacks just come out. You've played Spider-Man. I mean, I think at least the PlayStation has some stuff that's like first party sort of exclusives that are coming out. But that I just don't think that's Microsoft game plan. They just want an ecosystem for you to play games on. They're all about that Game Pass. They don't care about launching with games at the moment.
No, 100%. And I've been talking to people, like people have been hitting me up and asking me which console should they get. I'm like, you realize you're not getting a new console this week, right? Like if you didn't, like I said this in my first piece, right? But if you didn't fucking buy one 2 months ago, that ship has fucking sailed, my friend. Like it's over. So start thinking about what console you would want 5 to 6 months from now, because that is a more realistic time frame. Like, just try to frame it in that that point of view, and it's a far more complicated fucking question, right?
I think that's telling from the way they've done these launches as well, like the marketing behind them. We haven't seen, obviously it's very hard in the current climate, but you'd have these big live streams with developers on and talking to the CEO of like Sony and all that sort of stuff, showing like what's coming. Like they don't need to do that because they don't need to sell any consoles at this stage because there's no reason. They're all sold out. So there's no point chucking this giant big marketing thing on and getting all these people out there because they're not going to get anything out of it, really. I mean, they can get some things out of it. It's going to hype up, a little bit, but it's not like they're trying to drive Christmas sales up or holiday sales because they can't shift their units. They're gone. They've sold out. They've sold out of like the first 2 waves.
Exactly.
I think there's stuff trickling in, bits and pieces, but you're not going to be able to go into a store and find one sitting on the shelf. It's
even the ones you can theoretically buy online. Those are that's from like people who purchased and no longer want them.
Credit card was declined or something like that.
Yeah, stuff like that. Like something's gone wrong. This is not fucking. These are not the sort of. You're not talking about the numbers you would require to, like, okay. Certainly, you could camp out Amazon and maybe get in on the 3rd fucking wave, but that will just scrape in before the end of the year. But I mean, good fucking luck, and there's absolutely no guarantee that it won't get cancelled like it did with fucking Target and fucking Kmart and Big W or whoever the fuck. Like every place, you see all that shit? That's fucking cooked, man. That would be so much worse than never getting to buy one in the first place. Thinking you had your fucking Xbox locked in and then getting a fucking email on the day from fucking Kmart or whoever the fuck it was. Target and Big W.
Target.
Sorry, Kmart.
Kmart, you're all right.
You're all right, Kmart. Anyway, that would fucking suck. That'd be like, I'm never going to Target again.
Yeah, because you're under the impression that you've got something locked in, and at this stage, it's extremely hard to try and get another unit. At least if you didn't get it on the day, you can keep an eye out and look for places that might pop up every once in a while. But at this point, it's like, oh, cool. And it wasn't even like where we've been delayed on our units, so they're going to be another month out or something. It was just like a flat out, we've cancelled your order.
Yeah.
Like, bye.
Here's your money back.
Here's your money back. It's, yeah, man, that sucks. Big time.
Also, I'm not a banker. But it's been 2 months, right? What's the interest? What's the interest on $750 over 2 months? Hey,
a lot.
Hey,
at least 20 cents.
Not like at least 2 cents, and I want those fucking 2 cents. Target, okay? Don't think you can fucking run your fucking scams with me, your interest pulling the scams with me. I don't fucking think so, okay? Yeah. This big brain shit knows what you're pulling, and it's not going to happen. I want my fucking 2 cents. So you better give me back $750.01. That's my refund. Yeah.
Right.
Anyway. Is there anything else? I don't think so.
No.
Did you read many of the reviews?
For the hardware?
Yeah.
No, not really. I'm like most of the podcasts I've listened to either didn't get one. Like a Giant Bomb had theirs. They had like 2. Kind of Funny had, I don't know, I think they got like 18 by the sounds of it. Sure. But I didn't really go into detail. Like I read your stuff, but not a lot of other people's things because I'm just like, I feel like I've heard enough about it that I don't need to do it.
You read the best. Why bother with the rest? I understand.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
I read a lot because I don't know, I like reading reviews, and You know what surprised me? How positive people have been about the Xbox Series S. And I do not fucking get it, man. I don't get it at all. Like that console.
Just to clear it up, I actually did read a bunch of Xbox Series X and S reviews because I did like a big thing for the Australian community reviewers, and yeah. So no, I did read those ones. I didn't read the PlayStation ones because I wasn't here. I didn't have internet. So yes, correct. And I don't know, man. I felt like the stuff that I read wasn't as positive.
Really?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people were saying it's cool hardware, but there's nothing to use on it. Like the games aren't there.
The S, the Series S.
Well, I don't know about the S. Maybe
you might be conflating. You might be conflating the X and the S reviews.
Yeah,
because like I mean, generally anyone who reviewed the S also reviewed the X. There was definitely a trend where you'd see a lot of the similar threads.
Right.
But like I found it interesting that people could go from the X to the S and be like, yeah, this is fucking great. Like, what's the price difference on a fucking S versus an X?
I think it was about 200, right? I think in US, so don't ask me. Don't ask me anymore.
Yeah, like starting at $33 a month. That's not fucking helpful. Come on. What do you have to do to find a fucking price?
The 1 terabyte X in the US is $499, and the S 512 gigabyte is $299 US. So that's 200 USD.
250 cheapos, $499 in Australia.
Yeah, so about 270, 250. Yep.
If you were convinced that you were never going to go 4K, I guess I could see. I guess I could see the S being your best option.
Sure.
But like the I mean, 1000% absolutely before the end of this fucking current generation. Wink. Before the end of this current generation, probably before the end of the next 2 years, you're going to find it's very difficult to buy a TV that isn't 4K. That's
because you're going to be getting an 8K TV.
Well, yeah, they're already trying to fucking push it.
Yeah.
But like, no, you're like, it's now getting to the point where it's like it's getting difficult to find. But like, you can find a 1080p exclusive TV at fucking 55 inches. But it's going to be essentially the same fucking price as a 4K TV.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like the cost of 4K has dramatically reduced, and so like you wind up in this situation where you just sort of hamstring yourself for absolutely no reason to save $250 now when it will just wind up costing like
4K TVs this stage. You can get them cheaper than an Xbox Series S if you're lucky. Yeah, it's nuts. They've dropped a lot. Like it's not going to be it's not going to be a like top of the line like OLED 65 inch or anything like that. You're looking at a 40 inch. You know, that's still big. You know, LED 4K TV that's going to be probably cheaper than what you could pick up a new console for. You go forward a couple of years and it's like, how obsolete is that S going to be? Other than the price point.
Yeah, like what is it? It just doesn't. Yeah, and the reviews are talking about the surprising amount of power for the budget, but it's not like it reminds me of the Pixel. I've been looking at phones a fuck ton lately because I'm due for a new phone.
Yeah,
I got the 3XL. It's got a cracked screen because I dropped it while I was on the toilet, and so I'm due for a new phone, and I've been looking, and I am struggling mightily to find something that fulfills my requirements. Because, you know, what I require is basically a Pixel 3 XL, but better.
That won't crack.
And it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. Yeah, the won't crack. No, and it doesn't exist. Like there's no like Pixel 5 XL. They didn't make one for some reason. And the Pixel 5 is too small. I got friends who work at Google and they've all got fucking Pixel 5s. And they showed me it and I'm like, this thing feels tiny. Like I need to half dislocate my thumb to be able to use it one-handed. That's the dream phone scenario for me. What's going on with this tiny shit? Anyway, I've been looking at the difference between the Pixel 4a and the Pixel 5, and everyone talks about how, you know, the Pixel 4a is fantastic as a budget version of the 4, and the best budget phone out there, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's not like you're not gonna replace your fucking Xbox Series S in 2 years like you do with your phone. Or you shouldn't. Well, I mean, if you get a Series X, you won't have to replace it. This is that boot economy theory. You know, the man with enough money can buy a pair of boots that will last him 10 years, but it will cost, you know, $100, or a man can buy a shitty pair of boots every year and it'll cost $11 each time. And so over the course of 10 years, he'll have spent more than the man with lots of money to buy technically something worse. You know, like.
But the other guy has stinky shoes because he's been wearing them for 10 years.
That's a fantastic point that I hadn't thought of. Now I've lost my train of thought. Fantastic.
The point is, you could have a stinky TV, or
you could have a stinky TV.
Anyway.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway.
Cool. Well, I mean, the PlayStation 5 is out today for at least today. Tomorrow for me. Mine has been shipped according to Amazon. So I'm hoping it arrives in the morning or some stage. That's usually when my mail arrives.
Cool.
Yeah, exciting. Everybody's posting pictures today because it's morning in Australia. What's the time there at the moment? 8:15 a.m. So I'm seeing
8:15 a.m.
Seeing people posting pictures of picking up their Xboxes and their PlayStation 5s.
Dear listeners, I'm not picking mine up early because we're recording. I would otherwise be at the EB picking mine up now. I got a fast pass and stuff. But dear listeners, we're recording much earlier than normal because there's the threat. The people upstairs on Monday started hammer drilling into the balcony, and we had to leave the house because it was like literally like talking to my wife. I had to yell at her to be all like, hey, should we fucking go for a walk? Because this is apparently going on for another fucking hour. I had to yell it. It was like that loud that you could not fucking do anything in this place, which is fucking cooked. Like they didn't warn us or anything. I had to go upstairs. I had to it started and I fucking belt upstairs, hammer on the fucking door because they couldn't hear it. And they come to the door and they're like, oh yeah, what's up? I'm like, what do you mean what's up? What do you mean what's up? And they're like, oh yeah. Yeah, is it noisy? I'm like, you've got fucking earmuffs. You know it's noisy. Like, what the fuck, man? He's like, oh yeah. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, this is strata work. Like the building owners. I'm like, all right. Well, how long is it gonna go for? Like, how much longer does this continue? He's like, oh yeah, probably another hour, eh? I'm like, in the middle of the day, you know, like everyone's working from home. Like, how the fuck? How are you doing this? It's like, oh yeah, sorry, it was approved by Strata though, so like, cool. And so yeah, and then yesterday afternoon, knock on the door, and he's like, "Oh yeah, mate, we're gonna do more of that drilling tomorrow from 11 for about 2 hours. It's approved by Strata." Like, I don't care if it's approved. I just want to fucking know, but cool. So yeah, I'm like, great. I guess I'll just leave my house for 2 hours. But
yeah.
Anyway,
so well, they've been
we're on the clock.
Well, they've been jackhammering next door for like 2 weeks, or 3 weeks now, but it sort of stopped this week. Hopefully, nobody noticed it last week and the week before we were recording, because I think RTX cleared the fuck of that out. But anyway, it seems like we're jinxed or something. Jackhammering.
There's no way RTX clears any of this out.
It did the last 2 weeks for me. You couldn't hear it at all.
No, I mean on my end. All
right.
Like, it's like there's a bank vault somewhere in my building, in my house, in my apartment.
The thieves are trying to get into it.
They're like,
Ocean's 11.
Yeah. Holy fuck.
Right. All right. Let's move on then. Talk about some games. I'll kick off with Dota 5 quickly, which I talked about last week. They put a patch out for this game a couple of hours after we finished recording last week. There was two things I was complaining about. The big one was that the frame rate in the game was something was going on with it. It was kind of like very stuttery, even though it was saying it was running at like a high frame rate, like over 70 or 80. It didn't feel like it was running at that. It just felt a bit framey, and so I thought something was going on there, and it looked like a couple other people were having the same sort of complaints, even though they had really good PCs and they were getting good frame rate, display on their counter, whatever program they're using. And the other thing I said it needed was a VSync toggle on PC. And I wasn't sure if that was like the thing that was causing the issues for people with high frame rate monitors. But anyway, patch ended up dropping like right after we recorded. I downloaded it, jumped in, because two of the things on the patch notes were they fixed the performance issues on PC. I think they actually called it like gameplay stuttering, and the other thing they did was they added the VSync toggle on there. So I fired it up, jumped in, and yeah, it's perfect now. Runs silky smooth. No gameplay stuttering at all. It's running at a really solid frame rate. And it feels good, which is kind of what you want from a dirt racing game like that. And then on top of that, I put a couple more hours into the actual game. I think last time I'd only played about three races, something like that. Not a whole lot. I've had fun with it. It's it's not a really deep game. There's no like customization of the cars, and in terms of like going in and changing engine parts and things like that. You can customize the look of it by putting decals and different paint jobs and that sort of stuff on your cars, but there's no like engine upgrades or changing the exhaust or anything, changing the wheels, that sort of stuff. It's pretty much just like, hey, you buy a type of vehicle and you jump in, and that's what you've got. It's got like a rating on each car that is performance and handling, and it's like an S rank. So S is the top rank, and then it goes A, B, C, D. And so you kind of compare it that way. You've got like a horsepower number and torque, and the drive chain on it. It'll be like 4-wheel drive or rear-wheel drive, that sort of thing. So it's not like a super deep simulated game. It's like I said last week, it's a bit more arcadey feel to it. You've got like fireworks going off in the background, and lots of bright colored smoke and purple smokes and that sort of thing. And the actual event types that I wasn't sure about, because last week I said I think there's like all I've done so far is races, and that primarily seems to be the main gist of each of the events in the game as you go through. You've got like a system where you're picking either from one race event or another, and then once you finish that, it kind of branches off into another tree, and it's like, all right, you can now go and do these 2 races here. And occasionally it'll sort of like start off with 2 races, and the next one will be like 3, and then there's 4 here you can pick from, and it starts to go back down to like 3, 2, and then 1. So as you progress, you don't necessarily have to do every single race. It just kind of, once you check one off, it lets you move to the next sort of level that you can go to. And yeah, for the most part, they're just normal races, racing against other cars, going from point A to point B. Occasionally, there'll be like a race where you get from one end of the track to the other, and it's like 100% complete. It's just one lap, really long race, but otherwise, it's like doing laps for the most part. There are like Gymkhana events sprinkled through. I've done like 3 of those, and Gymkhana is the like doing tricks in your cars. They really focused on Gymkhana in one of the games. I can't remember which one it was, but that was
3,
like the thing that they really hammered into. And it's not in here a lot. They kind of just give you little courses that you can do. There's drifting areas, knocking over barricades will get you points. Doing like certain tasks like jumps and that sort of thing will give you points, and it's pretty easy to finish those sort of races. There's not really a whole lot to it. Yeah, like I'm having fun with it. It's not blowing me away in terms of the things that it's got in there. It's not like a like a Forza or a Gran Turismo or anything like that in terms of how deep a lot of these gameplay mechanics are, or like what you can do with it. It's just a pretty simple racing rally game, but I still had fun with it. It feels really cool. The handling of most of the cars feel pretty rad. The ones that I don't like are, and I don't know the name of the cars, but they kind of just go fucking left and that's it, and they're in like an oval, and they've got these weird like wings on them where one is pointing up and the other one is pointing down. I can't remember the actual specific name of those cars, but it's like a NASCAR like loop where where it's like you do like 6 laps and you just go around and you can only turn fucking left and that's it. I don't like those races. They're just kind of sort of boring. They're not interesting at all. But the rest of them I'm having fun with. Yeah, it seems like a decent game. But like I said last week, I can't really compare it to some of the other dirt games because I don't really have that experience. I kind of just dive in every once in a while and see what's happening on those games and whether or not I'm having fun with them. And yeah, I've enjoyed it. Seems solid.
Would you say that not all races are created equal?
No.
That is the worst thing, the worst joke I've ever made on this podcast. Yeah. An awful. The thing I was saying last week that I wasn't supposed to say,
but I cut out.
Not a racism joke. Was like basically about the nature of the races, like they are the lack of variety.
Yeah.
But I haven't played anywhere near as much as you. But even then, you were saying it right, like it was trending in that direction even from the fucking get go.
Yeah. There'll be a race in there, and it's like this one's ice racing, and this one's a dirt racing, and then this one here is that same track you did before, but now it's in reverse, or it's in nighttime, or now it's raining and it's a bit more slippery. Like there's like a dynamic weather system that's in there, and you're going to all these different racing locations, but for the most part, it's just like racing in different vehicle types, and buying different cars. It's not. I haven't had a lot of challenge in there. I've been blitzing most races that I've gone in and played. But yeah, like I said, I'm having fun with it. It's, you know, I don't know if the hardcore racing community is all about it. But yeah, for me to jump in and play like 6 hours of it, I'm like, yeah, I'm having fun with this. It's all right. But it's not
enjoying yourself.
It's no Forza, like Forza Horizon and that sort of stuff has really taken over the racing genre, I feel like.
Yeah. Like I've been banging that drum for ages, you know, like we've reached a point now where you've either got to go full fucking hyper fucking real, like the shit Heath plays, Seto Corsa and iRacing and whatnot. You've got to go fucking 100% simulation, or you've got to use your simulated physics to create something. Like if you're doing anything else, you're not like who are you satisfying at that point? Who's your fucking audience? All right, like if you're making a dirt game, if you're making Dirt 5 that is ostensibly a rally simulation, but you're not properly simulating rally, if you're just still doing arcade race style stuff, then yeah, like the rally sim people who are buying Dirt 5 for a rally sim, they're not going to be happy. And the arcade races, they're not going to be happy. Like, you got to fucking work that shit out. And Forza Horizon has perfectly fucking balanced that, like found that fucking balance point, which is, I think, critical. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the hotness. But yeah. It's Forza's fucking, I've played it because it got its update. I think I was saying this last week, right? It was very hard to tell which games had actually been updated to X, and which ones had just had, like, they had a splash screen, and they had a splash screen on the store that was there to tell people which games would be updated, but they didn't get their update. I think I saw it, like Baz in our Discord was asking about this. Let me just check. Somebody asked. I don't know. I was talking about it on we've had a lot of chat on the Discord, and yeah, it was one of those things that would only happens to, you know, again, our dumb only us experience that isn't really supposed to. I think it's one of those things that you're not supposed to talk about on podcasts. You're supposed to sort of like hide it. It's like the Magician's Alliance type shit. Like, we're not supposed to be talking about this shit. This is all like behind the curtain stuff.
We're like the Penn and Tellers of podcasting.
We are the Penn and Teller, exactly. I never shut the fuck up, and you don't talk enough. But anyway, yeah, it's definitely one of those things that you're just not supposed to talk about. But yeah,
you know, Teller's the brains of the magic, right?
I know all about it. Mate. I've watched every episode of Penn and Teller Flawless. I love that show. Holy fuck. That show is the fucking best. Yeah. It's fucking amazing. I get so fucking like hyped up when anyone fools them. Like, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm so excited. That's so cool. But yeah. Anyway. Yeah, so the tiles on the Xbox store were updated to show upgraded for Series S/X or X/S or whatever the fuck it says, but they hadn't actually been upgraded yet. It was there because the same marketplace is used across the Xbox One and the Series consoles, and yeah, so you couldn't fucking tell the difference. They had to email us and tell us which games had been updated or not, which was not an ideal situation. But I mean, fucking still had a free fucking Xbox, so
they need like a I don't know, optimized for Series X or something like that. Optimized for whatever.
Yeah, that's what they got. That's what they got.
Oh, right.
But what I'm saying is it displayed it because the marketplace was across both consoles, and theoretically nobody had a Series XS yet.
Right.
So it said it was optimized, and it would be optimized when it launched, but it hadn't actually been optimized just yet.
Yeah.
And sure enough, like the day before the launch, everything got optimized, and you could actually fucking
yeah. It's like inside baseball shit. Like when we get review code and they're like, "Hey, here's all the stuff we're working on fixing, and it hopefully will be on the day one patch." And there might be a patch before them, but we'll see. And you kind of like, all right, well, fuck, we'll see what happens.
Do not go to such and such area. That area will be fixed in the day one patch, and then you play through in the review, and you're like, okay, it said not to go here, but I don't really have a fucking choice. You go there, and it's like the fucking swamp area in Dark Souls or some shit. Like, it drops to fucking 15 frames. They're like, well, it's gonna be fixed when day one patch comes out, and then you're like, yeah, well, we'll fucking see, okay? Because I've heard that fucking song before, my friends.
Yeah, they actually did fix it.
And they did fix it. And
they did fix it. Dark Souls did, yes.
Dark Souls eventually. No, that fuck. I'm thinking about where you fight the fucking Spider Queen. You know, where it's like all those fucking scaffolds. I can't remember the fucking location. Anyway, that place is fucked. But anyway, yeah. So. Yeah, very inside baseball shit. Doesn't really matter at the end of the day. But yeah, Forza got updated. It is fucking gorgeous.
How's it run? Nice. Is it like 120?
I don't have HDMI 2.1 on anything, and that's the only way to get 120 frames.
Yeah,
out of a HDMI port. Yeah, you need like a DVI port to get like on my monitor. So the monitor only has fucking HDMI 2, so I can get 1440p 60 on the monitor, and I can get 4K 60 on my TV because it has HDMI 2 as well. So yeah, I've gotten 4K 60 out of it, and that's the best I can do.
Yeah,
what else can you do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Cool. All right, let's move on from Dirt 5 because I don't really have a whole lot to mention about that. Yeah, I've had fun with it. It's cool racing game. So if Dirt is sort of like up your alley, rally games, and check it out because I've enjoyed it. It seems to be doing pretty good in terms of reviews and like the, I guess, community seems to be sort of on the fence about it. So I guess like go read some of those reviews and see what they've kind of got to say about it. Because racing games and media is a very tricky slope because it's just those games are so hard to review because everybody you've got your, like you were talking about, you've got your really hardcore people like Heath who want one thing and other people that want the casual side, something a bit different. And so when you start getting into that with media and people being like, oh yeah, it's a fun game, like me, where I'm like, oh yeah, I'm enjoying it, but then you go and look at what the community is saying, who's played these types of games for a really long time and they're invested in it, and they're like, hey, they removed all these features that were in the last one, and this doesn't work the way it was supposed to, and all this stuff and that. So games like that, I feel like you go to your community to sort of find out what they're playing and what they think of it. But don't listen to people like me unless you're a casual racing person.
Unless you're going in with the same attitude, right? Yeah. Like if you're going in with like I want a cool racing game that does some rally shit. I've moved to a different country and I miss my WRX or some shit. Like then this is the perfect opinion for
I've been driving the WRX in this game. It's like one of the first cars I bought.
Of course you have, you fucking dork.
All right, let's move on before they start jackhammering. Let's talk about Among Us. You've been playing a bunch of
that? We played a bunch of games earlier. I believe Nate is reviewing it for K-Zone, which is a kids magazine here in Australia. And
So this is Nate's last review then, I feel like.
Well, apparently, it's extremely popular among K-Zone readers, and they've been crying out for more content on it, and so they have capitulated.
What do they call him? Do they call him like Nate Daddy? What's his K-Zone name?
I don't think he gets a name. I don't think he gets a byline in K-Zone. I think he's
that
just
sucks,
a games
man.
guy.
He should demand one. It should be Nate Daddy Lawrence or Scrub Daddy. Yeah.
Scrub Daddy. Baby Daddy? No, that's weird.
People that don't know, K-Zone is a kids magazine in Australia.
Yeah, you see it at I don't know if you still see it at Coles or Big W when you. Do they still do Yeah, they still do magazines.
Yeah.
But it's mostly just for Karens, right? Like the new idea and shit. Anyway, so he was less reviewing it and more seeing if it was suitable for the audience. And I have no idea where he landed on that. We didn't really talk about it. But we did play a couple of games. We had a bunch of people in Discord all playing at the same time. And I still enjoy that game. It is, it's a mafia style. Someone is the imposter. Find out who they are before everyone dies, and it devolves into a fuck ton of yelling. And Grey Squirrel, we're playing with him. The last time we played a couple of weeks ago, he was the imposter 4 times in a row. And this time, anytime there was any question about whether or not he's if it came down to 2 people, right? It was there's Squirrel or there's me, and either of us could be the hostage. And I know for a fact that I'm the fucking hostage, but everyone would fucking vote Squirrel out anyway, just to make sure, just because you couldn't fucking trust him. Because he said so many times now, no, I'm not the imposter, guys. That you're it just doesn't sound real anymore. I was the imposter fucking once. We played fucking 15 games or some shit. I was the imposter once. Squirrel's the imposter fucking 3 times. I don't understand. How does that? For fuck's sake, I never get to be the fucking imposter. And when I was the imposter, I think I got found out fucking instantly because they've changed all the settings and stuff. There's new settings in the game. They've updated it, but they've changed it so that your view area is much smaller. And I was trying to work out how to jump in the vent after I'd murdered someone. And I was clicking on the vent and it didn't work. And then I was I got to press the vent button. And then I took my eyes away to find the vent button and moused over to the vent button. And then looked back at the screen and pressed vents just as Kleb walked on the screen. I'm okay, well, I'm fucked. Boy, I'm fucked. And they voted me out because I was sitting there listening to fucking Heath and Drew argue about some shit. Right? They're Heath and Drew are full-blown going oh, no, it wasn't me. I think it was Heath. I'm pretty sure it was Heath. And then Heath's no, it was 100% Drew. Why would Drew accuse me? And then there was 10 seconds left on the clock. And they're well, I'm voting Joab. I'm hang on, what the fuck? And they're well, you were too quiet. I'm you two were arguing the whole time. I didn't want to fucking talk over you. What the fuck am I supposed to? Don't vote me out. We're going to lose. And then they voted me out and I was gone. I'm how the fuck did this happen? What the fuck happened here? This was a fucking sure thing. I had these cunts fucking lock stock. I was going to go kill Kleb and then they wouldn't be able to do anything. They would have been fucked. But no. Anyway, it was pretty fucking bananas. It was pretty upsetting because that was my one fucking game and I got to kill one person and that was it. But yeah, otherwise, apart from that, Heath might be the worst Among Us player fucking ever. Ever. I've never seen someone so amazingly inept. And then when he was the imposter, the ineptitude continued and it seemed to work 100% in his favor. So either he is a psychopath of terrifying capacity who is 100% able to like assume the role of fucking Dewey in Scary Movie or whatever the fuck, and just like verbal kint that shit into us into a fucking false sense of security, or he just Mr. Magoo'd his way through the fucking entire every single game where he was an imposter and came down. I think he won one of them. Like, how the fuck does that happen? Because he is he is utterly useless, and you can't like it's impossible to interrogate him because you'll be like, "All right, Heath. Well, how come you didn't come help? Like, how come the lights went out and you didn't come help fix them?" And he's like, "I did come fix them. I was somewhere. Where was I? I was like next to that brown basket." And you're like, "What the fuck? Brown basket? That's not like, where were you? Name a fucking location. Give us something to I don't know the locations. I was up. We start up. Were you in the starting area? No, I wasn't. I was like right of up. I was in like the oxygen. Oxygen is left and down. Where the fuck were you? I don't know. And then you're like, well, I'm voting Heath. He's like, it wasn't me. And you vote him out, and it wasn't him. And you're like, for fuck's sake.
Is he playing with his racing wheel?
Yeah, maybe. Maybe. Anyway.
What are they doing in that game now? I feel like I haven't heard a lot of it in terms of obviously it's still popular, but are they patching it or anything like that, or is it much going on?
They're doing patches and stuff. I think they're adding a new area or some shit. New server options and stuff, yeah. But I think it's a bit slow going.
Yeah.
So we'll have to wait and see. I think it's like a 2-man team or something. Cleb was saying it's 2 people working on it.
Right.
So, it's still pretty janky. We're still going to get you into a game. It'd be hilarious.
Yeah. You guys are generally up a bit too late for me. It's like 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
It's not the type of game you can be.
Yelling is the fun part.
Yep. It's a weekend game, I feel like, for me. Like early morning for you guys. All right, cool. That's I'm definitely keen to jump in and check it out. Like, I've not really watched a lot of it. I've seen bits of it. I don't really know how it works. So,
yeah, it's definitely easier to understand once you play it. I highly recommend not going down the YouTube rabbit hole with it, because everyone plays it at this like ultra high level that I find to be just like dull. It's much more fun a game when everyone's on the same vague level. Clearly Cleb was on a different level to the rest of us, but he appears to be pretty good at pretending he's not. Although at the same time, there's still stuff he can't unsee. So yeah.
All right, fair enough. Let's keep moving along here. There's a bunch on the list still to talk about. Should we go with NBA 2K21?
Yeah, I don't have heaps to say about this. I started on the Xbox Series X just to check out if you had to pay 25,000 VC to hire a basketball to play on one of the basketball courts. And
this is in my city. The new city.
In my city, which is the new My Neighborhood, yeah. Before you're even allowed out into the city, it would appear that you are locked in a smaller area where you have to earn enough rep to get out of. Yeah, basically. Where you have to earn enough rep to get out of this like tiny area. So I guess that might alleviate some of the issue I was having with 2K21 on the current gen console, where I felt that if you hadn't started day dot, you were stuck in a situation where you just didn't have, like, your character didn't have the rep it required. You know, like everyone would just leave pickup games because your character didn't have any rep, and you couldn't get your rep up because you couldn't fucking play any pickup games. it seems like that would alleviate that issue in particular, which is, I think, probably a good idea, but at the same time, completely locking people in seems a bit weird. That said, I couldn't find anywhere where you needed to spend 25,000 VC. And I didn't want to play too much on this.
Was it in the Gatorade court or something like that? I feel like above the gym.
Above the gym.
I think the gym is now like multiple levels, and I think
okay.
I think it was the Gatorade gym is like where you rent courts, and that is where I don't know, like I'm speculating, but I did see that post of being like, you need to spend 25,000 VC to buy a basketball, and then on top of that you need to rent a court, but you need the basketball to rent a court. And I believe that's at the Gatorade gym, which I don't know why you would want to rent a court.
I don't understand it either. Yeah. And I didn't see I didn't find that. But I've got it coming down on PS5 today as well. Cool. Is there cross save? I didn't see.
I want to hope so. Like,
I don't want to fucking start my fucking character again.
Yeah, and especially a game where you've spent all this money on, right, Joab? I mean, like VC, which is technically money. I want to hope that it brings it across.
Do
you know?
Cross-play, clarification, my player progress will not transfer between generations. That is fucking bananas. You're kidding.
Do you get your fucking VC back at least?
I doubt it.
Oh, that's insane.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Fuck this game then. Honestly, if I'm gonna have to fucking test it. But my initial reaction to that news is fuck this game. If that's true, you have to spend extra the fucking $160 fucking Kobe edition to get the version that plays across both systems, and then you also that it can't be true, right? That's fucking bananas, man. That is fucking cooked. Yeah. I will check. I'll report back next week.
Yeah.
And let you know if that's the case. But I really hope it isn't, because that might be it for me with the NBA 2K series. If that's true, I don't think I could support that absolute fucking horse shit.
So wait, sorry, just to clarify, because I'm reading a post here on Polygon, and they're saying that the my team is will come across, the currency and progression comes across next gen consoles. So you'd think that would be right for my player as well. Like this post is specifically about my team. It's saying it will go across. I'm on their blog now, so I don't know.
Yeah, on that FAQ, right? It only says my team. Yeah. I'm not like it's.
I'm wondering if that is because like my player is I mean this version of NBA 2K21 is like basically a brand new game. Like they're not the same game. And so the progression in terms of like your character, like moving your character from 2K21 on the PlayStation 4 to the PlayStation 5, they can't be the same because you've got different badges and skills, and the way the leveling system works is completely different. That's fair enough. I feel like, okay, if that's something that they can't do because it's like basically a different game, that's fine. But at least let the progression currency come across.
FAQ. Will anything in my career or my play transfer over? No. My play inventory and progress will not transfer, as the experience will be different from NBA 2K21 on next-gen consoles.
Yeah. They need to give you your money back.
They have to refund the money. Otherwise, that's fucked.
Yeah, like if they were able to convert the VC back and give it back to you, so you can spend it in your My Player to get you back to where you were. But if they're just taking it away, that's I mean, that wouldn't surprise me from coming from them either. So, anyway.
And when purchasing the current gen NBA 2K21 Mamba Forever Edition, you will receive 100,000 VC once you launch the game. When you receive and launch your next gen copy of NBA 2K21, you'll get an additional 100,000 VC.
That still doesn't put me to where I was.
Right. Well, I mean, it wouldn't. I didn't buy any extra VC, but yeah, other people did. Yeah. And if you bought I mean, okay, so at least you get the fucking 100K.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But I'm not getting the games that I've played now. I've gone through the college basketball and I've done all the draft and I've gotten to the Lakers, or was it Lakers? Yeah, I think it's Lakers. I've gotten to a team that I want to play with, and I've played like a decent amount of games and I've earned VC and done all this stuff, and for me not to get that progress back at least is it's a bit crap. Because I'm not going to be at the same spot that I was when I left the game.
They do appear to be saying that it is the experience will be different for NBA 2K21 on next gen consoles.
It absolutely is. I've watched the videos and it's like everything's completely different. Like I said, it looks like a brand new game.
100%. Like, I mean, what I played of it, I just sort of skipped through everything until the opening cutscenes and all that. That's the same. But I just sort of skipped through so I could get to the city, so I could see what was going on out there. With $25,000 rental, which I obviously failed to do. Yeah, like, I don't know.
Did you put your my player character in? Did you scan your face?
No, the app wasn't working. The app. Oh. I mean, it's been the worst app of all time for the last like 3 years in a row, and this year is no different. But it's not like the next gen consoles have suddenly made the app any good. But yeah, anyway, it's still pretty crap. But I'll report back next week when I know more.
Yeah, hopefully I'll get some time to play it. Busy, but I want to at least fire it up, check it out.
Yep.
Okay, moving on. Rainbow Six Siege.
Rainbow Six Siege Operation Neon Dawn is the next year 5 season 4. Year 5 season 4, the last one of year 5, and checked it out in a extremely sweaty play session with a bunch of other game journos. This was some hyper sweaty shit. Anyway, new character, Aruni. She's from Thailand. She's a double amputee. It's pretty cool. She's got like this really, just a really cool like aesthetic. But it transfers over. She can like punch holes in walls about the size of a small shotgun fucking blast.
Punch.
And it is punch because she's got a prosthetic robot arm.
All right.
And she just fucking slams these holes in.
So it's like an ability. It's not the melee button.
Yeah. It is on the melee button.
Oh, okay.
It's just bigger than the regular melee. And it's fucking huge, man. And it is fucking terrifying. Like, because like normally if someone was like on one wall punching fucking holes, you'd be like, you fucking idiot. But when she does it, it's like a bang, and you're like, fuck. Turn around, and there's a giant hole in the fucking wall. You're like, shit! You fucking hit the deck. And then you start spraying into the wall. But like when it was happening to me, so we're playing on the new map, the redone skyscraper. Playing on that, and I'd planted. We were on attack. I planted, and I'm covering the only entrance, and then I hear this fucking smash behind me. I turn around, and there's like a fucking quarter of a fucking sledge hole gone from this wall. I'm like, fuck, and I like slam myself up into a wall, and then like there's another fucking smash directly above me, and I'm like, because I'm crouched, like fucking looking up, and I'm like, I'm gonna have to deal with this fucking issue at some point, right? Like it's gonna have to be fucking dealt with. I gotta fucking like make a choice. I gotta decide what I do here, and then but I'm still trying to watch this fucking door. It's ostensibly the only way in. And then she like smashes another one, so I whip around and I just fucking spray into the wall. And that is exactly when the rest of the defenders came through the fucking door. It was like they timed it or something. I don't know. It was fucking whack. But they blapped me pretty easily. I did not play well. I wasn't hitting a lot of shots. I don't know what it was. Too much Destiny or too much Warzone or something. But the shooting model just felt I was bad at it. Anyway, nevertheless, it was cool. It was good fun. She puts up she has this thing called the Surya Gate, which is a laser grid that can destroy any projectile thrown through it. And so you throw like a flash or like an ash grenade or Carly's fucking explodey thing or drones or fucking like loads of shit. Like Doc's fucking healer thing, impact grenades, smokes, or like everything from both sides. It just destroys, which is a pretty big deal.
Does the EMP kill it?
Yeah, unless you throw it through it, in which case it destroys the EMP. And it doesn't kill it; it just zaps it off. So it's actually roughly the same. Like it's a bit of a waste of an EMP, except for the fact that you can also, in my game, they had an ADS, a Jaeger ADS, next to the Surya Gate. Because the idea is once it zaps one thing, it goes on a cooldown for 30 seconds, and then a defender needs to shoot it to put it back up again, to put the laser back up again. So you put that up, and if they like double breach, then the ADS will get the second one, right? But I rolled my fucking Thatcher EMP below it, and it took out both of them, which was top-notch stuff. Bit of a waste of the old ADS. The ADS is a bit different now. Obviously, also only zaps as well. Everything like Thatcher's EMPs only zap everything now. They don't destroy. That was a change a little while ago. But yeah, the other thing it does is it does 40 damage if a operator runs through it. It's auto turns off for defenders, but it does 40 damage if an attacker runs through it, which is pretty big deal. Something you have to think about. I was in a situation where I was the last one alive, and the only way into the bomb site was there was Surya gates on both of them, and I didn't have any fucking throwables left. I had the fucking breach, the new deploy breach. I didn't bring grenades or anything, and I had 25 health, and so I couldn't go into the fucking site.
Yeah.
Because I would die. And I'm like, fuck it. I'll just go into the site. And as I was running into the site, one of the other people who was playing like fucking leapt over the fucking ledge and like fucking beamed me and stopped me before I could get through the fucking laser, which was extremely upsetting because I thought it would have been pretty cool to see someone die to the laser. But we were in full sweat mode, so no such luck. What else? Got a bunch of fucking things. Jaeger's ADS now goes on a 10-second cooldown, so it can't fucking zap everything all the fucking time, which is a big difference. Ivana, she now chooses how many pellets she wants to do, like 2, 4, or 6. which is a pretty fucking big deal. She can just do two pellets, and instead of so you can actually use that to fuck up the Aruni gate, the Suya gate. Just shoot out 2 pellets through the gate, and then it's off. It's useless for 30 seconds, and they have to shoot it back on. So that's actually pretty good. It's a huge buff for her, really. She still has 18 total pellets.
Okay, yeah, cool. So rather than just having 3 shots or whatever, it's now individual pellets.
Technically, I have 9 shots, yeah.
All right, that's cool.
It is. Echo got fucking nerfed into the dirt. He's basically done. There's no point. Yeah. He's over.
Because his drone is invisible now. It's used to be invisible. Now it's not if it's in a certain spot, right?
It just doesn't go invisible on the roof anymore.
Yeah.
Once it's on the roof, it's no longer invisible. So it's invisible on the ground, but who fucking cares? What does it fucking matter? Yeah, that's completely useless. It's too big a nerf, in my opinion. Yeah, I think they went way too far. He's useless. Got to play as the new Tachanka. He's got a incendiary grenade launcher now instead of the mounted machine gun. He now carries around the DP-27 as his primary weapon. It is useless. You'd be crazy to take it. You'd be crazy to take that weapon. It fires so fucking slow. His other weapon is Kapkan's SMG, the whatever the fuck it's called, the Russian one. I don't hate it, but I don't love it. Aruni's guns. She's got the fucking P10 Roni, Mozzie's gun, which is fucking awesome. It's my second favorite gun. And she's got the fucking Mark 14 EBR, which is Dockerby's. DMR.
Yeah.
I don't agree with that. I don't think I don't know. I'm sure some sweaty cunts will love the fucking DMR and on a Defender, but the P10 Roni's fucking bananas. I love that gun. The only one that's better than it is Legion's gun, whatever the fuck that's called, the T5 SMG or whatever it is. I like that. Anyway. What else? Yeah, Skyscraper. I don't fully agree with the changes they made, to be honest. What they've done is they've reduced a lot of the windows to the outside, and they've removed 2 of the balconies to reduce the opportunities for runouts from defenders.
Sure.
And peaks. And I like the idea of reducing the peaks, but the removal of the balconies makes it so much fucking harder for attackers to get in, because there's no question in my mind that it is easier to attack from a balcony than it is from a fucking hanging off a fucking rope. The amount of angles and stuff you can get on a balcony are significantly higher than hanging from a fucking rope, in my opinion. You're more mobile. You got more opportunities to peek and stuff. Hanging from rope is just basically you're a pinata. I hate rappelling. I always get fucking blats when I'm trying to 50-50 shoot rappelling. I never win my 50-50s from a rope. So I firmly believe that. But it was semi-reflected in the in our games, in the sense that I did some fucking maths, some quick maths, and defenders won 80% of their games. We, even in the last round, we went to fucking match point because we lost every single round on attack, and we wound up winning from defense. Because we got lucky and we got defense as our overtime. I think that's pretty telling. But that said, learning a new map is always a bit defender lopsided. I've never seen it be this lopsided, though. This is a rework of a map everyone knows. It's not like it's a brand new map. It's not like we just don't know the map at all. This is it's supposed to be a map we vaguely know, and yet is dramatically defender lopsided. Like repeatedly on attack, we would constantly like just there's one person left, a single person is left, and they have to ace or they will like it's over. It feels very lopsided. I'm not crazy about it at the moment, but I have to wait and see how it shakes out. I might just be it might just be that I don't know how to do it yet type thing. Anyway, there's like I do like the run out timer has been reduced to 1 second, which is awesome. Yeah, fucking finally. So that's pretty good. And I don't know if there's anything else. No, not really.
No.
Oh.
Cool.
It's pretty cool. When I have like I can see myself getting back into it when I've got more time to play games again. Because I love the cadence of a game of Rainbow Six Siege. You know, it is there's like they've got a really good pace to it. You know, there's that high amount of tension that sort of dissolves really quickly. They do a really good job with that shit. But yeah.
Dude, do you feel like this whole one operator is the way they're going to be going forward? Because what I mean by one operator is they usually do like each season is split up into each year is split up into like 4 seasons, and in the past they've done like 2 new operators, and then gameplay changes, and then map rework, and then the next season will be 2 new operators, and that's sort of how they've been going. And it's just been these last 2 seasons where they've been like 1 new operator. Do you think that's what they're going to keep doing going forward?
Yeah, 100%. That is, I think, the way that they go from here on out. I mean, a cynic would say that it's just a better use of their time, like, more efficient use of their time. But I think it's actually probably winds up being a little bit like easier to balance and stuff. Like you wind up in these situations where each new season isn't a giant fucking hand grenade in the middle of how the fuck you're supposed to play anything. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Cool. I haven't played that for a long time now. It's been a while. I don't think I even have a season pass for this year. I can't even remember. So I have to go and buy everything. All right. Anything else to add for that one, or pretty done?
No.
All right. Let's keep going here. We've got Destiny 2 on the list. New expansion, is that what they're calling them these days, has come out?
I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah.
Beyond Light is the new expansion, as we're calling it. And it takes players to the moon of Jupiter called Europa.
Okay.
It's an ice moon. And it's a very snowy area. And it's basically, I would say, about 5 to 6 hours of new storyline content.
Mm-hmm.
And then like a new strike and a bunch, there's a bunch of extra content after that, like world content and stuff. I don't know, it's a bunch of new Destiny stuff. It's more Destiny.
Do you have to have played the last bunch to get to here? Like how are they doing that now? Is it sort of like the last content is free, or do you still have to buy that stuff?
So I mean, first of all, on Xbox Game Pass, it's fucking all free at this point, as far as I can tell. Even Beyond Light is out on Game Pass. It's only on Xbox Game Pass, not on Game Pass for PC. But yeah, I think it's eventually going to come to Game Pass for PC. But yeah, you can play all of it right from the get-go. You don't get the season pass. It's probably worth getting if you're intending on playing it a bunch. And yeah, that's about it. I mean, now when you start at light level 1050, I believe it is, which was like the soft cap of last season. It was maybe like the raid cap of last season. Now you start in the Cosmodrome like you did way back at the beginning of Destiny 1, I think. And yeah, like it's actually a bit of a remake of that Destiny 1 Cosmodrome or Destiny 2, whichever one it was the starting area for. And they've got a brand new like starting sequence, like a brand new like starting experience for a new character and stuff. But otherwise, yeah, all your gear gets lifted to 1050. All my gear was like fucking, I don't know, most of it was about 1010 when the season ended. It became 1050. I immediately made all of it obsolete with the like fucking first thing I did, like you do in any expansion for an MMO. Suddenly all these blues are better than my fucking exotics and stuff.
Yeah.
And then yeah, you just sort of run through from there. You don't need to have played anything else. I mean, storyline wise, it's not at all self-contained. It deeply references everything that's happened before, but Destiny's problem storytelling wise has always been that 90% of it's in fucking
text.
So who fucking cares? And the only parts that I really give a shit about are the parts that are narrated by Lance Reddick, Zavala. He's the fucking king. And then, so yeah, you just sort of roll around Europa doing shit, doing missions and trying to take down this chick who is embracing the power of dark, because dark is like the opposite of light, and you get light levels and you powered by the light and all this kind of stuff. And yeah, you also embrace the power of dark to defeat her. And over the course of the campaign of Beyond Light, you unlock the new subclass Stasis, which is all ice powers and stuff. It's pretty cool. I don't love the grenade, but I'm on my way to unlocking a new grenade. And yeah, you just sort of ice shit up. They've done really well with the effects and stuff of the ice. You okay?
What'd you break?
Maybe I won't put my feet up so I don't kick everything. Okay, we're okay. Anyway, yeah, the effects of the ice and stuff are really cool, and like when you freeze someone, you can then like shatter them like it's fucking Liquid Metal Man from T2 and stuff, and except they don't, come back together. They just stay shattered. And yeah, it's an interesting ability. It's like there's a significant amount of crowd control involved with it, which is not something that they've typically done in Destiny, and so it's interesting to see how they've attempted to work around that. They tend to throw a fuck ton of enemies at you now to force you to control the crowd, which is pretty cool. I mean, why the fuck not? Yeah, what else? I don't know. I had a lot of fun. I've been playing with Rasty and his clan, and before Beyond Light kicked off, they took me through like some of the like missions that were going away. So they've vaulted a bunch of stuff. They've taken a bunch of stuff and just put it in the vault, because I believe what has happened is Stasis has changed a lot of how the game works. Like there's a whole bunch of stuff that no longer really functions the same because of Stasis. Like, there are encounters that would be way easier. There are even like you can when you throw your ice grenade, it creates like a bunch of ice, You can use it to, like in Crucible, I'll throw the grenade down at my own feet, and it'll put a big wall up, and I can use that to protect myself. To stop, like when I'm capturing a point, I'll just throw that at the fucking nearest door, and it'll just block the door, and I have to shoot through it, which will give me an extra bit of time to cap the point. Yeah, that's pretty good. The problem is if you throw it into a wall, you can then jump on that fucking the little ledge that it makes, because it sprouts out from the wall a bit of ice. You can jump on that, and you can use that to climb to places where you're not supposed to be. And you can already see, like even on Europa, like usually lost sectors are these places on the map where you can like go wherever the fuck you want, or go deep into the map in these hidden areas, and they're like you have to find them. They're like some like hidden away area or whatever. And when you get through them, like you fight your way all the way through them. They're huge. They're like tiny little dungeon type things. You get through the end, and there's a chest at the end and a boss, and that's it. You've completed a lost sector. But even then, you can see that they've had to put up these like obvious shield type things to stop you, because I was testing it, and you can fucking jump. Like you make your way to the end. If you know where the end of a lost sector is, you can just go straight to it with the fucking ice wall. And just make your fucking ice wall ledge all the way up. Easy. Which is obviously not intended. So, they're like 100% not going to work. A bunch of stuff isn't going to work from the old content. But before it went away, Racy and his clan took me through some of the cool stuff, and it was pretty rad. Some of that stuff was fucking awesome. There was like a couple of hidden missions and stuff that just like they involved this like hyper complex, really nail biting first person platforming, and it was fucking rad, man. Like that's what I'm about. That's what I really appreciated in Destiny. Like Destiny 1 was, the Vault of Glass. The best thing about it were the sections between the fights where everyone had to complete these platforming puzzles. And this was like super tough. Like some of it was fucking rough. There's one bit where you're like running, there's like a maze, and there's a fucking robot that runs around the maze, and if it catches you, it just one hits you. Like it doesn't matter how high light level you are, it'll just fucking one hit you no matter what. And you can hear it and vaguely see it because it's got a red light. And when you see it and hear it, you got to duck down a fucking different corridor to try to lose it. And that shit is fucking terrifying. It's fucking cool, man. That was like just part of one of these fucking lengthy missions where you're like jumping, you're crawling along like a ledge, and like the best thing about this shit was like how the fuck people worked out how to do any of this shit. I have no idea, because like the other thing that I didn't mention is that all of it's on a fucking clock. Like you've got to get it done inside of 20 minutes. And if you don't get it done inside of 20 minutes, you get fucking booted out. It's like you've lost connection with the memory or some shit. And you just get booted out. And so you got to like get through all these platforming challenges and to the final boss fight. And you got to beat the boss inside of 20 minutes. And yeah, holy shit, man. Fucking hairy. But like rad as fuck as well. Like really, really cool. I haven't found like there's hints of it in Beyond Light on Europa so far. Like there are some bits where like it's not hyper complex. There's like, I mean, you can see that there will be puzzles to be solved, and you can, like Racy was even talking about some of the things he thought were hinting at puzzles later on. But like even now, like there's some high quality fucking platforming going on already, like just some careful jumps that you need to make, like careful landings under sniper fire, and then like you're picking off whatever you can, and making the next jump, and all this kind of stuff. And yeah, like that stuff is what I fucking love in Destiny. And there's a little bit of it. I want to see way more of it. I believe the Vault of Glass itself is coming back, which I'm extremely excited for. But even just another mission that was a crazy platforming mission, I'd be extremely excited to check out. Anyway, I've reached the soft cap. I've finished the campaign, unlocked stasis, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Otherwise, yeah, I'm just having fun. I mean, it's actually, you know what? One thing I've noticed, right, is I think I take for granted how good people generally are at video games. So I was playing the Strike, the new Strike on Europa, whatever the fuck it's called, the Glassway or whatever it's called. And I got into it. It's like via the story you have to do the Strike, and I got put into it, and I got put directly at the final boss with one other person, and I worked out why this dude was alone and at the final boss, because he was fucking useless, absolutely useless. So I basically had to solo the boss on this fucking level, because this cunt, I swear to God, spent 95% of this level dead. It got to the point where, like, when you die in the boss fight, you've got like a 30-second respawn cooldown, unless someone like revives you. You can be revived, which is faster. And so I was reviving this guy, and then he would die again, like a minute later, without seemingly doing anything. And then I'd like, I revived. It got to the point where I stopped reviving. I just didn't do it anymore. I'm like, well, fuck it. You can just fuck, like, it's lateral. It's a lateral move at this point. Like, there's no difference between me reviving you and you doing nothing, or you sitting there for 30 fucking seconds, reviving yourself, and then doing nothing and dying again. So I'm just not gonna fucking do it. I'm just gonna concentrate on killing this boss all by my fucking self, because clearly that's what needs to happen. And it's hardly the first, like, I've done that Strike a bunch now, and most of the time, everyone else I've done it with appears to be fucking useless. Like, absolutely fucking useless. And I'm starting to understand why I'll play 2 games of Crucible and then suddenly get, like, I only get matched against the fucking MLG super sweaty cunts who are running, like, these exotic fucking shotguns or some shit. And, like, they've all got super fucking armor that does extra shit, and they can glide further and jump higher and all this kind of shit.
Multiplayer.
And I'm running around with like fucking a blue SMG or some shit and doing nothing. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? But those first 2 games, I pantsed every cunt in the thing, and then it's skill-based matchmaking is kicked in. It's like, fucking, I don't think so, cunt. It would appear you're some kind of super sweat. So you and your garbage shit can go into the super sweaty cunt fucking pool. And that's what happens. And then I have absolutely no fun in the Crucible, and it drives me fucking bananas. And yeah, that is evidently what's happening. There are a lot of people who are playing Destiny who are like, I'm not sure. I don't think that they dress themselves. That's my theory. They aren't capable. Yeah. Because, yeah, the people I get matched up with in random stuff, holy shit, they're awful. They are just bad. They're really bad. Oh, my God. Anyway. But, yeah, no, Beyond Light's... Well, like, if you got an Xbox, you should absolutely check it out. I would... Like, I mean, you may as well. If you've got a Series X and you didn't happen to pick up Watch Dogs or Assassin's Creed, you may as well grab Destiny, because it's all on the fucking Game Pass. Check out some Forza Horizon. Check out a bit of Gears if you care about Gears. And then, yeah, play some Destiny to go along with your brand new console. Or, you know, you could grab Assassin's Creed.
Right.
Which appears to be the fucking winner of the Xbox bunch. From my experience. It's better than Watch Dogs, certainly.
Did you play through the other Destiny content while you were playing this, or was it something you already finished and you took your character across, like your old character?
I played through the old content in the week leading up to the online. Yeah, and then that character got taken across. That's a lot. Like Racy was taking me through a bunch of that shit in the lead up to Beyond Light's launch. I guess they were just doing whatever, playing strikes and stuff like that. Took me through it. Nightfall strikes and stuff like that. Those are just like strikes with extra difficulty stacked on top and stuff. But we just fucking belted through a bunch of exotic missions and me a bunch of exotic weapons and stuff like that. I'm extremely grateful. It was it was good.
Cool. I might check it out at some stage.
I'm pretty sure you can't play the old stuff anymore, though.
All right.
That's the only thing. Yeah, it's gone.
Do you mean like the strikes and that sort of thing? The campaign is still there.
The old campaign?
Yeah.
I don't think it is.
Oh. What do they replace it with then?
Nothing. I think we'll see, I suppose. Yeah. But I don't think you can do it anymore. Yeah. Yep.
Okay. That's Destiny 2 Beyond Light out now.
Indeed.
Yeah, I'll get in there at some stage. I played Destiny 2 recently, and I don't know, man. Like, I think there's just too much going on at that stage. It was just kind of very one note for me. So maybe I'll have to jump in and check out some of this new content. What's going on?
I mean, it lifts immensely once you've got other people to play with.
Yeah.
And yeah, like that is the first step. Is playing with other people. I mean, I've been enjoying myself playing on my own, but it is significantly better. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I should mention I think the reason it's hard, like the reason I immediately noticed that people are fucking bad is because with Beyond Light, everyone's back down to being under-leveled. So I was saying in our Discord that I would die to a boss and then it would reset me to the start of the fucking boss fight and I'd have none of my fucking ammo, which is unbelievably infuriating. Like, fucking holy shit, man. That is not how that should happen. Like, they should give you, even if it's just a quarter of your fucking, like, when you die in the fucking Crucible, it's not like you respawn with 0 fucking ammo for everything again. You don't respawn with heavy ammo, but you've at least got some special ammo. No. If you die in a fucking boss fight and you just happen to have used up all your fucking special ammo, that's it. When you respawn, you've got fucking nothing again. And, like, holy fuck, man. That is fucking banana. That's fucking rough. Like, just give me a bit. Give me enough so that I can do something. What I wound up doing, like, the first boss, and I've seen, like, you go on the subreddit, everyone's saying it. Like, the first boss is fucking rough because it is specifically over-leveled. Like, it's designed to be for higher than your current level. You're supposed to, like, grind out some better gear to go do it, but nobody's getting all the way through a fucking story mission, which is like, 20, 25 minutes. Nobody's getting through all of that, getting to the boss fight and being like, oh, I better go grind up some fucking better gear. No, people are just going to fucking brute force that shit, get their fucking way through it. You might even get like a bit of gear in your many repeated fucking failures. But like, what I wound up doing was I would go in, I would kill things until they dropped me some ammo, and then I'd just fucking die and reset so that I had enough ammo from the fucking get-go of the fight. I'd do like what little damage I could with my primary weapon, but invariably when I died without any ammo, I also died without my grenade up or my fucking melee attack up or my fucking super anywhere close to being fucking ready or anything like that. So, yeah, you just fucking die, you like resetting so you got ammo is just such a fucking dumb fucking design for a boss fight. And yeah, but anyway, those fights are deliberately over leveled, and like people who've been playing Destiny for the last however fucking long, they're all extremely used to being way over leveled.
Right.
Like they do content where, you know, the recommended light level is fucking 1000 and they're all like 1250 or some shit. And they're like, I'm going to piss it in. Like they just fucking belt through it. I think it was 750 and they're all like 1070 or something, like 1060 was like the rate cap. Yeah, they're all 1060 or some shit and they're just fucking walloping everything. And they're like, I'm a space god. And now they get fucking back in here and like they're 1060, but the cap is like, oh, sorry, the bosses are like 1150 or some shit. And they're like getting walloped. They're getting like two shot. And they're like, this shit's super hard. I don't know how anyone does any of this shit. And absolutely no question. It's extremely hard. But it is doable. They're just so used to pissing it all in that they don't, like me. Nah, I've never been over leveled for any of this shit. I've always been fucking barely scraping by. So I'm like, seems like Destiny to me, baby. And now that I'm over leveled, technically over leveled for like any of the world content, I like roll around like just helping out these bambinos while they're doing their world quests. I'll like roll up with my fucking ice wand and shit, wizard staff, fucking freezing everything, and two shot and shit, and then I'll just fucking scoot away. Away I go. And yeah, that's pretty fun. Anyway.
Cool.
The only thing I miss is world PvP. If there was world PvP, I wouldn't be some fucking benevolent fucking space wizard. I would be a evil god of ice and death. I would be rolling up on some motherfuckers who are in a different faction, just fucking bow, cacao, motherfucker. Like, wish more games had world PvP. Anyway.
Yeah. All right, Destiny 2. Let's move on. We got one more game on here. Assassin's Creed Valhalla is out now. You and I both got codes from Ubisoft to play this.
Correct.
So we could talk about it today. Yes. Basic premise, it's set in Vikings time. You're playing a Viking named Ivor. And off the Batman, not Batman, off the Batman. The opening cinematic of this game is awesome. Like it's him or her, depending on which character you've picked, as a young child, and witnesses their parents getting brutally murdered and killed as a raid takes place in your village. And it's this like epic one-shot sequence that sort of transitions from gameplay into a cinematic. You can absolutely tell, on PC at least, that it is a FMV, because it goes from whatever you're running at, like 80 frames per second, down to 30. They've capped the frame rate on that video. But anyway, it's this awesome one shot that goes through, like, you're going in and out of windows and into buildings, and it's like following this character through. It's really cool. And it kind of ends with your character on ice being attacked by a wolf, and it's got this sick moment where the camera just sort of freezes and the animus starts to like play up a little bit, and that's when you get to pick your character. But just that whole like opening sequence I thought was done really well. I enjoyed that quite a lot. Anyway, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, I feel like, is one of the least Assassin's Creed like games that I've played. I like Odyssey. These three games that they've done now, Origins, Odyssey, Valhalla, sort of go together in this this new style of Assassin's Creed games that they're making. Odyssey was a strange one because it it didn't have a lot of the Assassin's Creed sort of lore and stuff that was going on. You kind of played that game for a long time. You're like, when is the Assassin's Creed weird fucking alien stuff going to pop up and Templars and all that sort of thing? It just doesn't really toy with that much, at least for a long time. Like the main character's not even using wrist blades as far as I can remember.
Yeah.
But at least in that game, you are running around and you're going into these towns and you're sneaking your way through and you're still like assassinating people and that sort of thing. And what I mean by I feel like Valhalla is the least Assassin's Creed type game that I've played is that I feel like this is a lot more of an action game, as opposed to a stealth game. Because and I don't know if that's just the way that I'm playing it, but I think this is the intended way that they kind of want you to play it, is to be more action focused. Because a lot of it involves your sort of group of Vikings and raiding towns, and it's about having them alongside of you and pillaging all these villages and burning them to the ground and looting all their wealth and that sort of thing. And I'm not finding myself really going around and being like, I'm the assassin, I'm going to sneak my way into this village and kill this person.
It just doesn't feel like an efficient use of your time, right? Like, yeah. You're like, oh yeah, I'm going to sneak in and kill all these cunts, and then I'll go back down to the beach and call a raid. No, just fucking, you call a raid, and then you fucking charge in on your boat, and you just fucking murder everyone. Like,
yeah. And I think because the combat as well is, while I enjoy the combat, I don't think it's anything special. I think it's a lot easier than what they've done the last couple of games. They've obviously still sticking to the Dark Soulsy style combat with stamina bars and your heavy attacks, light attacks. You've got your adrenaline meter is still in there to use special abilities, but this feels a lot more toned down compared to Odyssey in terms of its difficulty, because you are just murdering people in this game. Like, you're running into villages with you and a bunch of other people and pretty much like 3-4 shotting everybody. Most people is just like a heavy attack and a couple of light attacks. They throw like a variation of enemies at you where they'll have either a shield, or maybe they've got like a pike, or there's definitely a variety of enemies, but I haven't found it like, oh, what is this thing and how do I deal with this enemy? For the most part, it's like I just hit it a couple times and it's dead. I'm not finding combat challenging at all. And I feel like the combat is a step back in the series, but I'm still enjoying the combat because it's just so like dumb. It's just like you just run in there and just destroy people, and I like that. The like dismemberment. It's very brutal and graphic and gory. Yeah. There's a lot going on there. Like the finishing moves are really cool, where you like stun somebody from a if they're like blocking your attacks and you hit them a bunch, their like stagger meter builds up, and then you can like one shot them. And there's some really brutal things that your character will do to the other person during those moves. That stuff is really cool. I wish there was more of it, because you do start to see a lot of it get really repetitive from time to time. You're like, oh, we're doing this thing again. All right, this person's got no arms anymore. Or like the amount of heads I can see pop off is in a certain amount of time. That like, all right, okay, that's the third one this fight. So like I that stuff is really awesome, but I just feel like there's not a lot of variety in the combat and what sort of is tied to all of that. Are you sort of, because I feel like you maybe liked the combat when you were playing in the preview?
Yeah, and I've liked it so far while I was playing, although I was noticing, like you were saying, it was already getting repetitive in that preview session. It didn't help that I was like, the checkpointing was fucked up and I had to do like this one fight multiple times.
Right.
That was a preview like fuck up in particular. Like it crashed and I was at the final boss fight and crashed, and they had to put me back at the start of that fucking sequence, which was annoying. But yeah, like I like the combat there. I like it now. It does feel too easy. But like you said, like
It's satisfying.
it sort of works. Like
Yeah.
It
The first
it works.
time someone's arm like disappeared, I was like, "Holy shit!" Or
Yeah.
then, like when he grabs a stick and just like shoves it down their throat, you're like, "All right, this is different. This is going places."
Some shit.
Yeah.
I'm playing as Chick Ivor.
Okay,
Um,
I'm the guy because I
yeah.
played Odyssey as, oh man, I can't remember her name. Is it Alexand? No, I've lost it.
No?
I can't remember. But I played as the female character last time. I think the male character is really good. I think they've nailed the acting in this one. It's I like it a lot.
Yeah. Well, I think I don't know. I haven't seen the male Bible, but like, yeah, I just think the acting overall is quite good. Like, I think they've done a really good job of like making the world feel like somewhere worth exploring.
That's the trick, right?
Yeah.
We talked about this a couple of weeks ago with Watch Dogs. It's just so boring to go around. Like once you get the fast travel system and you realize like none of these collectibles are interesting, like why should I do any of that stuff? You kind of push that to the side and you focus on the main missions and you go around and do that. Whereas in this game, even though you use fast travel quite a bit, like there is just so much world building in there that it's worth going out and exploring.
Yeah, and like it's also as much as I hated that game, Death Stranding, like the environmental work in that game was phenomenal, and I feel like they've taken some fucking hints in ACV. You know, like you find so many locations that are just so beautifully framed that you wind up going to like places just for the look of it. I mean, it helps. It helps on I'm playing on Series X and it's fucking gorgeous.
Yeah.
I think it's better looking than Watch Dogs Legion.
Yeah, I'd say that.
But Watch Dogs Legion is technologically more advanced.
Sure, it's got ray tracing and that sort of thing. Yeah, I agree. I think the environmental stuff, they've taken big cues from Red Dead and The Witcher.
Yeah.
Probably the two.
Yeah, that's probably better than Death Stranding. I don't know. I think it's just there's something very Scandinavian about Death Stranding and make that connection. Yeah, like it just feels like it's worth going out and looking at stuff as a result. And yeah, it's good.
Are you playing as exploration mode, the default one?
I went whatever the default difficulty was across the board. Or are you talking about the difference between, is there like that educational mode that they had, and is that there yet?
Yeah, so they've got 3 different modes, and this is something they've done in some of the other Assassin's Creed games, and it's something that we saw in Ghost Recon Wildlands, where there's like exploration mode, and the other one is like your standard, hey, we're going to show you where to go, and the objective markers will be on the map, and that's where you need to go to progress the game. But the default mode in a bunch of the Assassin's Creed games and in this is basically like, we're not going to give you a objective marker. We'll sort of show you where you need to be in the general area, and we'll give you hints like it'll be west of this village and north of here and one of these islands, and you sort of just go and walk around and explore.
Yeah.
And
that's so much better.
Oh, and even the side, like that fits in so well with all the side missions. They don't really tell you like, hey, there's a mission here. It's kind of like split up into mysteries, artifacts, and wealth. And the mysteries,
so good. Oh my
mysteries, God. Like, again, they've taken what we've learnt from, and I think the 2 best examples we've got in the past is like The Witcher 3, sorry, and Red Dead Redemption. And they've taken what we know from those games in terms of world building and making interesting stories, because we've talked about this in the past. You did not like the combat Witcher 3, but that world and the story and all that things that are going on is so good. And that's what this game does so well, is that you want to go out and explore and find what's going on, because the missions are just, even though there's a lot of stuff in there, it's like sort of repetitive. It's like listening to these people and finding out what is going on and just all the insane stuff that is happening there.
In that sense, ACV is like fucking the reverse of The Witcher, right? Like playing The Witcher 3 on easy, which I still get fucking comments on that YouTube video about. I got one this morning actually. It said you should learn about the potions, and then you'll find it very easy. I'm like, it's been fucking 6 years, cunts. Please stop. Anyway, yeah. Playing that game on easy, I got the feeling, right, that like I'm like, yes, I'm playing it on easy, but I wish it was harder. Like, I wish it was harder, but I also don't want to fucking deal with the frustration of that combat system. That's what fucking, like, playing fucking on default difficulty in ACV. That's what it plays like. I'm genuinely considering bumping it up to hard. It's not like I'm doing a review for anyone, so I don't think I need to maintain my default fucking difficulty setting. And I might just play it on a difficulty where I feel like it is appropriately challenging, because I'm definitely getting to the point where I'm sort of like, it's more complex than simply countering and then attacking, but only just barely. It's not like it takes a lot of attention or anything,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I feel, is that like, I don't think I'd even bump it up to hard, because I don't think the combat in there is that good to begin with. Like the parry system, I think, is a bit janky. Like something, the timing windows are sort of hard to figure out, and that could be because of the tells. Like they do these flashing notifications when they're about to hit, and I've gotten just used to being like, oh, whenever I see the flash, just fucking parry. But like, some of the attacks will take a long time to wind up, and that's kind of what's getting me sometimes. I'm like, oh, damn it, I shouldn't have wound up then, like, now being hit and all that sort of thing. I just think the combat is not as good as either Odyssey or Origins. It seems like maybe a mix in between. They've gone like down the middle somewhere. But anyway, back to the mysteries and the world building. Two examples that I want to talk about, that I don't think they're spoilers because there's just so many of them. But they every once in a while I come across one and I'm like, that's fucking awesome. That is so good. Like the writing in this game is excellent. It's definitely one of the highlights of it. And the first one, which is the one that I sent you guys, is this. I was out walking around and I come across this dude who's sitting on a log, and you start talking to him and he turns and he's got this fucking axe in his head. And I'm playing with subtitles on, and the guy's name is just Axehead. That's what it says there. And he's going on and he's like, oh, my head is really itchy. It's a little bit sore. Like, I don't know what's happening. Is there something going on? Like, is it cut, or like I've just been in this battle? And then he starts talking about how his arms are really numb. And does he need to dress his arms? Like, has he been injured or anything like that? And Ivor is just trying to like subtly tell him, like, there's a fucking axe in your head, dude. Like, this is not good. Just like that sort of stuff is really awesome. The other one that I found last night, these two families that are living next door to each other, and they've been arguing recently. They're on like this farm, and they're growing like barley, and one of them is, I think, selling the barley. So one of them's growing it, and the other one's selling it, and they're like having this bitter feud, and it's been going on for a long time. And their families, you can go talk to their families, and the kids are talking about how like the things used to be better when they were getting along, and the barley's causing them all these problems and all this sort of thing. And you talk to these people, even though there is a mission marker on the map or a mystery marker on the map, it doesn't come up and say, hey, there's a mission here, or this is what you need to do to solve the puzzle, or it's just kind of like you talk to these people and it's like, all right, cool. And so I'm like, all right, well, I'm gonna destroy their barley then. And so I grabbed like there was a little canister next to it full of, it like explodes, right? And so I put it next to the silo and then shot it, and it exploded, and it goes on fire, and they come running out of their house, and they're all sitting there watching it going, oh no, what's going on? And then all of a sudden the barley silo blows up, and it just fucking explodes, and it sets both their houses on fire. And there's like fire propagation in this game, which is really cool. And their roofs are on fire and everything's burning. And then like smoke starts billowing up and the screen starts going like orange because all the flames and everything. And there's these two people, both of the families are out the front like fucking crying because their houses have just exploded. And I'm like, what the fuck did I do? Like, what is going on? And it pops up on the screen like mission complete. And I'm like, holy shit. That is so good.
Fucking the Curb Your Enthusiasm music starts playing.
Like, those moments in this game are just so awesome. Where, like, you just... And there's dozens and dozens of them in a region. You just go into a region and they're just sprinkled everywhere. And that's what it is. It's like exploring and finding these weird, quirky stories that you come across that like really make this game. I've had so much trouble playing the main missions because I've been going around and doing all these mysteries because they're all different. There's not a lot of repetition there. Occasionally you come past one, it's like, hey, cleanse the curse. And I've done a bunch of them or that sort of thing. But a lot of the time it's just speaking to people and finding out what their deal is. And you don't get a notification to be like, this is how you fix it. One of the first ones that I came across when I noticed this is what was going to play out was like, did you find these two? But the couple that are arguing inside the house, talking about how like they haven't had passionate love for a long time and it's been a while. And the last time they did it was during battle somewhere where everything was on fire and all this crap and that's kind of what they're talking about. And like, if only we could do that again, or like find some way to light a fire in our lives or whatever. And so I went into their house and just fucking lit their house on fire. And the dude is like, "Oh, I'm rock hard now," or something like that. Like, let's go. And it's like mission complete. I'm like, and that was the first time that happened. I'm like, that's awesome. Like, that's what I want out of games like this, where it's like, it doesn't fucking slam me in your face like how to solve the problem. So yeah, man, like
you got to actually engage and pay attention and like
listen.
That's super awesome. I feel like we've spoiled. Well, not spoiled, but like we've talked about it. There's only one. I haven't done any of the hilarious ones. I just did one that was like, it felt really dumb. Like, it was like, I guess that makes sense. But like the storytelling around it, like the way it was written was very good. It was the cats and the rats. Have you done that one?
Yep.
Fuck that one. So dumb. It was so dumb. But like the way they all talk, it's like the way they self-justify. Like they obviously self-contained characters for this one specific purpose, and nobody like this would ever exist. Certainly not two groups directly next to each other, and yet like they have it sort of seems perfectly justified in the context of the mission, and you're like,
right.
Yeah, that makes sense. Makes sense that you got like fucking 16 cats or some shit for some reason. But I know how to solve this. I'm gonna let the cats out, and
it works.
That's it. Like, that's all you had to do. And you're like, so fucking dumb.
Yeah. But I dig that stuff, man. It's so like problem solving and trying to figure it out and it's causing a problem because I'm extremely busy right now and I want to keep playing this game.
Yeah.
And I can't because I'm not mainlining it. I'm like, oh, let's go mark everything off the list. And it's a lot better than Odyssey because Odyssey was my big problem with Odyssey was that there's just so much stuff on the screen, and the game would be like, "Hey, you're level, let's say you're level 20, and it's telling you to go to like from point A to point B, and as you're going past." As you're sailing, you're going past all these locations that are like, this is level 16, and this one is level 17, and this one's 18 and 19, but you're level 20, and like you're going all the way down here, and you've got to be down here is level 20, and so you're missing all this stuff that's there. And then so I would go sidetrack and go in there and have a look, and it was all boring content. Like, it wasn't interesting. And there was just so much of that sort of thing. Like, this is 17 area, this is 18 area, this is 19. I'm like, I don't want to do any of this stuff. This is not fun or interesting. And there's just so much of it that I can't be bothered. Whereas in Valhalla, I'm like, yes, I'll do all of it. Let's go. Anytime I'm near an area and I see a mystery, I'm like, we'll go over there, check that out, find out what's going on. And it's good. Sometimes, like, if you can't solve it and it's like a fight that you just get the shit kicked out of you, or you need to come back, then it usually will mark it on the map being like, hey, there was a thing here, maybe come back to it later. But it doesn't pop up in like your objectives list to be like, you need to go get this thing and then come back later. It's just kind of on the map, which I really appreciate. I don't know, it's just like a more interesting way than just being giving you a list of crap to do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's
like yeah. We're thinking about this a lot, you know, the checkpoint checking. The way games have turned into just big checklists.
Yeah.
It feels like something that I've like, because I'm big on priority management in video games, and the checkpoint ticking phenomena is sort of like a very simplified version of that. I think that's my problem with it a lot of the time.
Right.
And yeah, as soon as it gets even a little bit more complex, it becomes very, very interesting. And yeah, I think Assassin's Creed Valhalla does it quite well by not telling you how, by not giving you the solution, by making you work it out yourself. It's just that little bit of complexity that it needs to really ramp it up. Because otherwise, when you were sailing down to the level 20 place, everything from 17, 18, 19, it was always really fucking obvious. You'd like, oh yeah, well, I guess, there's a big fat guy here, so I'll kill the big fat guy. That would be it. Or, oh yeah, there's a grave here, so I guess I'll look in there for a tomb or some shit. And it was always, very straightforward. And as straightforward as these mysteries sometimes wind up being, they're only like, they would be entirely obtuse if you hadn't been paying any attention. And I think that's what makes it work. That's what makes it good.
Yeah, absolutely. What else is there? The gear system, I'm a bit iffy about that. I'm not really a fan of whatever's going on here. It seems to be tiered into like 3 different, like assassin, melee, and like range or something. Like they're different colors and like different clans, and I'm not really sure how that's sort of affecting things. If that's like built into the skill tree or anything, but it's just like I've had the same weapon for fucking ever, and I'm just leveling it up. It's just strange. Like I don't really understand the gear system. Like I'm getting stuff, but it's not as good as what I've got. Like I need to then upgrade it, but I don't want to spend all the resources because I want to use it for other things. I don't know. I just don't really get the gear system. You know, it's just kind of, it's not interesting. I don't think it's very, very good compared to the last couple of games. But what I like, I just upgraded my bow. Have you been using the same bow? I just found a second bow and I switched to it and I was like, oh, I don't like this bow anyway. It was like a short bow that rapid fired. I'm like, I want the other bow. I like that one better.
One-shot headshots, maybe. Like that stays true. You're doing so much more with a headshot for so fucking long that you're like, I don't fucking know why I would change. Like,
Yeah.
holy shit.
But I appreciate that they in the combat, they try and get you to sort of switch between weapons, because if you get your bow and arrow out, it shows you weak points on enemies, and they're sometimes different depending on what type of enemy you're fighting. And it'd be like their leg is glowing, and if you pull out a bow and arrow and you shoot them in the leg, it like automatically stuns them, and they'll go down, and you can run up and hit them. Or it'll be like there'll be like 2 weak spots, one on each arm or something, and if you get both their arms, then they go down. Like some of the bigger guys will have multiple weak spots, and you need to target all of those. I think that's really cool. That's such a cool idea. Very like Horizon Zero Dawn. Like you're not stripping off parts, but you're sort of like hitting these weak points and making them like to stun them. Which meant that I was switching between bow and arrow during combat, and you know that's not something that I'd normally do, which I thought was really cool. But yeah, going back to not the gear system, but the like abilities, they've got this leveling system where every time you level up, you get 2 points to put into your skill tree, and then occasionally you'll find stuff out in the world that'll give you a skill point. You get a lot of them. I don't like the way that it's sort of displayed to you. It's like this constellation, very like Final Fantasy, where there's like orbs, and you put points into these orbs, and it's like, hey, you get an extra 3 damage or 4% fire resistance.
Not even that though, right? Like you get like fucking 1.2 or some shit, and it's like, you've gone too granular on this one, guys. Like, holy fuck! I understand you need a progression system and you need to incentivize some people to play your game, but holy fuck, man! Like, earning a skill point so I can get 0.4 more stun doesn't seem like, I don't know what fucking 0.4 stun equates to. Right? Like, what the fuck is what's the fucking difference here? Like, get the fuck out of here. It seems meaningless. It's close enough to 0 to be nothing.
It's set up in this like constellation where there's like little hubs, and there's a bunch of these nodes in each hub, and then generally in the middle there's like one ability point or something that you can that'll upgrade your character. It'll give them a new skill or a new adrenaline slot or something, like allow them to do something different. And it's all generally like shrouded in this fog of war thing, and I don't like that at all because I have no idea where I'm going. Generally, when you play a game, when you're like, oh, I need to level up my character, and it shows you the skill tree, you can look at the skill tree and be like, all right, cool, I like some of these abilities, I'm going to go down this path. This is where I'm going to focus on. In this game, you start off with 3 nodes, and you've got assassin, stealth, and ranged. And you start putting points into these nodes, and eventually you get to the end of a node, and the line goes off to a new constellation. And when you get there, it reveals what the next like node is in that like melee tree or wherever you've gone down. And sometimes these trees then intersect with each other, like the melee will come in contact with the assassin one, and that sort of thing. But you don't know what you're building towards. Like all of a sudden I'm going down this skill tree and it gives me an ability. I'm like, I don't like that. I don't want to do that. But in order to get out of this skill tree and go to the next one, I've now got to put like 8 points in this whole thing to get to the next part. And I might get to that bit and be like, I don't like this ability either. Fuck.
You get there and the ability is like, you can now fart without shitting your pants. You're like, I wasn't having that problem.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Right.
I don't know that this was the best use of my fucking skill points.
The good thing is that you can easily reset that node and be like, I want to take that point back, and then you can go start like mixing and going down a different tree, but you can't see like where you're going, and so it becomes this thing of like, oh, I'm just putting points in an area, hopefully I get something good. Like I've seen people talking about like guides and things like that where they're like, hey, here's some must-have abilities, you should pick up the auto loot one and this sort of thing. I'm like, I have no idea where that is. Like where is the auto loot thing? Because is it in the assassin's tree, or is it in the ranged tree, or is it down in the melee tree, or is it somewhere between the both of them? Like I got to fill in both of these things. You just kind of don't really know what you're heading towards. And I like at the same time, I think I know why they do it, because they don't want this giant fucking tree there, which is what like Path of Exile does.
Yep.
And they're just like, here's your skill tree. Good luck, motherfuckers. And there's just like 800 nodes there, and you don't know like where you should be going. But at the same time, this thing is, you look at it and you're like, I just don't know what abilities I'm going towards. It's all random to me. So I don't like it. I like I like the putting points into nodes and being like, I get extra damage and all that sort of thing. It's more deep, as opposed to just being like, here's 40 abilities and I'm just putting them into a tree like the old games. But because I can't see what I'm going towards, that's the problem that I'm finding with that system. I don't like it how that is designed at all. Anyway, yeah. But other than that, man, I really like this game a lot. I'm having fun with it.
Yeah, man. I haven't had as much time as I would like with it, but I've been enjoying it as well. And it definitely feels like this, like one of those games. Like, I'm probably not going to get a lot of time to play it in the next couple of weeks, but come December, I think it's going to be something I play a lot of.
During the break.
Yeah, like it just, I've really liked what I played of it. I just can't fucking keep playing it. I got fucking other shit to play.
Right. Are you getting that same sort of vibe that it doesn't feel like an Assassin's Creed game? Like, there's Assassin's Creed stuff in here, but like,
I think I must be getting that vibe because I actually want to play more of it, and I haven't really wanted to play much more of the other like the last fucking, I don't know, 8 fucking Assassin's Creed games. So, like, since Black Flag, I haven't been that inclined to play an Assassin's Creed game. So yeah, it must not feel that much like an Assassin's game. I can't quite like yet put my finger on the difference, although I get the feeling like you have probably outlined a lot of the differences already. But yeah, like it just, I'm really enjoying it, and yeah, I'm keen to get to the bottom of why I like this one and not the others.
Yeah, they the most Assassin's Creedy thing in terms of like you going out and you're assassinating people is they've got that there's like a bunch of people that you're going after. Or Odyssey did the same thing. I don't remember this, but like you'd run into this like cult and they'd all have masks on, and so you didn't know who each person was, but you needed to go through and like kill them all. And so it was about like going out and exploring in the world and finding clues about who each person was, and then once you found a certain amount of clues, you would like unveil them and you'd know who they were, and then you can go assassinate them. There's a very similar system in here, but they're kind of they're like shrouded figures, and as you go around and explore, you get clues, and that's when people are revealed, and like, oh, you know where this person is now, you can go sort of find them. But that's like the most Assassin's Creed thing that I've found in there. And I've run into situations where I've been in the middle of a fight and I've killed somebody, and it's happened to be like one of these people that I'm supposed to be killing later on. And I'm like, all right, cool, knock them out of the way. It was easy.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good job. Well done.
Yeah. There's no like ship combat in this one. There is long ships that you get in and you can sail around, but you're not like shooting arrows or anything like that like the last couple of games have done. Like, there's definitely things in here that you go, oh yeah, okay, I've seen this in Assassin's Creed games, and this seems like a very similar style to what they've done recently. But then there's other things when you're like, this is completely different. Like the raid system it just feels so much more action focused compared to the stealthy nature of what these games are supposed to be. Like, you're not running around on rooftops parkouring everywhere and that sort of thing. It's very wide open areas. You can definitely run on roofs and jump between places, but it doesn't feel necessary because you're pretty much just standing around with your posse of Vikings just pillaging and burning and dismembering people. So
yeah,
it just seems like a really weird tone to it. There's the animus.
Is that the progression that Ubisoft games just naturally do? They start off as stealth games and then eventually become fucking high octane action games like Splinter Cell and whatnot.
Yeah,
you know. Does this mean we're not going to get another fucking Assassin's Creed game for 8 years or some shit like Splinter Cell? Is that the deal? Fucking Ezio will fucking show up in Rainbow Six at some point, and they'll be like, "And that's your fucking Assassin's taste for the next decade or whatever." I don't know.
Yeah, there's references to that stuff in here. There's like Desmond logs and stuff outside the Animus. I saw a COVID reference in like one of the first notes. It's like in an email or something that you read through. So they were on point with that one. But yeah, there's not really, as far as I can tell, a lot of stuff outside the Animus. I've only done that once at this stage. And yeah, I don't know. It's just like there's not a lot of that Assassin's Creed stuff in there, like the Brotherhood and the Templars. I'm not getting that feel. There's characters that are in that world, and that there's there's ties to it, but it just doesn't feel like an Assassin's Creed story. I used to enjoy those whole like the Desmond stories and where all the weird crazy shit was going, but it just seems like at this stage it's just a name, a franchise name that they slap on there, like, yeah, that'll do. It's similar to those games, but whatever. Here you go. But yeah, man, I'm really surprised by this game. I'm enjoying it quite a lot. So hopefully we'll get to talk about it more next couple of weeks. Anything else to add in here? I don't think I've got much else to say at this stage, but I definitely recommend it for people.
Me too.
All right.
Yeah.
News. Let's get through this. Take-Two has acquired Codemasters for $1 billion, and this is going to take place next year. Codemasters, they make racing games. Dirt 5, they made Dirt 5. And a lot of other racing games. Do they just make like racing games exclusively now at this stage?
No. Oh, yeah. At this stage, yeah. Yeah, I think so. I don't think that, like, is there anything else they make? Let's have a squeeze. I don't think so. Maybe they're doing it so the driving in Grand Theft Auto VICE 6.
All right. I'm looking at their list of games. They've pretty much exclusively made car racing games for the last 10 years. We've got one on the list here called Overlord Fellowship of Evil.
Right.
And then back in 2011, they did Operation Flashpoint Red River, which I think I previewed that back in the day. They make racing games at this stage. And Take-Two has added them to their list of developers. So that's 2K, Rockstar joins the list.
They should make a new Micro Machines game.
Okay. With VC.
That's what I think.
Because, you're going to be getting that now. You have to spend VC to buy new wheels.
You have to actually go buy the Micro Machine in real life to get a code to play it in the game.
Ah. Okay. Excellent. All right, moving on. We've got Spider-Man Remastered on PlayStation 5 will allow you to bring your PlayStation 4 game saves across now. This was something they weren't originally going to be doing. They've now changed their mind, which means that, it'll convert your save game across, which is awesome, because I was definitely looking forward to jumping in and checking out some remastered Spider-Man. I don't think this is live yet at this stage. Have you heard anything about this?
I think it is live, isn't it?
Oh, is it?
Didn't it go live with the launch?
Oh, okay.
Didn't
cool.
it?
I don't know. I don't write this news. I just read it.
All right. All right. You did write this news. Hold up. This is your fucking news story.
Yeah, I didn't write the news story. I looked at a heading somewhere and was like, that sounds interesting.
Right. You read the headline and didn't fucking come on, mate. Come on, son.
Yeah. Should we look this up really quickly? Or are you looking it up?
Maybe no, I'm not looking up shit. I refuse. It's your news story. Okay, fuck it. We don't know.
It says here that
listen, if you're going to this fucking podcast for the fucking news, you're in the wrong place, baby. You're 2 hours. It's the wrong fucking thing.
Right. It says Thanksgiving, around Thanksgiving. So that will be in like next
2 weeks.
2 weeks ish, maybe. Some say
2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, shit then. Okay, fair enough. So they said, okay. They got me the codes and stuff, and I must have misread misread the NDA thing. Anyway, classic. Good times. Yeah, no, you come to this podcast not for the news, but for extremely informed opinion about how video games work and inside baseball shit that we're not supposed to talk about. Probably. Maybe. Anyway, yeah, cool.
Next up, we've got Mass Effect Legendary Edition is coming out next year? ? We're doing it again, Joab. Yeah, brand new like remastered version of Mass Effect, and then they like surprise teased a new Mass Effect is in production, and then showed like a screenshot.
Very, very, very lightly teased that a new Mass Effect game is in production. Yes.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So this is not an actual like it's not a remake or anything like that. It's more of a remastered. It's getting new enhanced features and that sort of thing, which will allow you to play it on new consoles like your PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X, as well as PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One. This will be next year, so it's a little bit of a way.
2021, so autumn, so what, July-ish?
Yeah,
maybe August next year. That'd be good. In the dead zone.
Yeah.
What about it?
And that's about all we know at this stage. New Mass Effect. Would you? I don't know. Are you excited for a new Mass Effect, or is it just kind of like, they didn't really do it the last one, so?
I'm more excited for a remastered Mass Effect than I am for a new Mass Effect, to be honest. So we'll have to see how the hype train goes over time for the new stuff, but very keen to play a remaster.
Awesome. And next up, we've got Project xCloud. As Xbox's streaming service is coming to Australia next week. Yes.
You can register, like it's limited capacity. You can register to be a part of it, the like pilot program. Today. And then we'll roll out to gamers in waves, I believe. So you can get the registration, register and join in. Pretty keen to check that shit out.
Yeah. So this is the service that allows you to stream games on mobile devices, in particular Android at this stage, because in all that on Apple. But you're able to basically, play games on those devices. I had it running on, I don't think I can talk about it. Oh, who cares? On a tablet a couple of months back when I was in the preview program. But that stuff works. Cool.
Which is pretty cool. That they sent me a press release. Project xCloud is Microsoft's cloud gaming technology. Blah 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 blah. Cloud gaming uses custom Xbox One S hardware racked in Microsoft's Azure data centers. Pretty interesting. That's One S hardware. I found that interesting. But yeah, anyway. Makes me feel like if you have a robust enough upload in your own home, you might be better off streaming from your Xbox Series X if you've got the capacity. The same way that you're better off streaming remote play from your PlayStation, which is possible. You can remote play from a PS5 to a PS4. Did you see that shit? It's not in our news, but someone found out that it's possible. They updated the PS4 to be able to do it.
Okay.
Pretty cool.
All right.
Pretty cool. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway.
Next up, we have DICE is creating our next Battlefield game with never before seen scale. It's a quote from Andrew Wilson from EA. This was during a investors meeting, and they're saying holiday 2021 for the next Battlefield game. What is it, Joab? Is it going to be Bad Company? Is it future sci-fi Battlefield?
If it's unprecedented scale, then it's not going to be fucking Bad Company. You already know this. It's going to be Battlefield 6. I want to say
Battlefield 6.
What about Vietnam? Vietnam would be fucking pretty cool. I feel like people don't like glorifying the Vietnam War anymore.
Let's go back to current. Let's go back to current war. Let's do it. We've had old school war for a while.
Yep.
Don't need any of
back
that.
to modern warfare, desert combat, all the way back. Make the helicopters impossible to fly again, like in desert combat. That was the best shit.
Yeah,
I was so good.
What if it is Bad Company, but it's just like 200 people, Bad Company, and like
that's why I don't think it'll be Bad Company. Why wouldn't it just be Battlefield if it's going to be 200 people? What if they release Firestorm alongside the launch of the game this time, and they don't fuck it up with a terrible matchmaking system?
And they patch it.
What if it's just Battlefield 5, but they re-release Firestorm again, and it works well?
Yeah,
that'd be it. They'd win it all. Could you imagine? Fucking world beaters. That was the fucking best.
Yeah,
and we'll finish forever with about a 50% win rate.
Yeah.
The odds might be higher.
It's disgusting.
God damn.
Yep.
We fucking belted that again. Anyway.
Yeah, I don't think this is too surprising.
Excited. No.
The more surprising thing will be trying to guess what game it is. What if it's I don't know. I don't think they do sci-fi, because that seems to be more of a Star Wars thing.
That is true. Why would they waste their Star Wars, their sci-fi stuff on a non-Star Wars game? Yep.
All right, and that is the news. What if it's Hardline? Hardline 2.
Hardline 2. Could you imagine? Oh my god. Oh, the devastation people would feel.
Yeah.
That'd be hilarious.
All right. That is the news. Have we got any questions for this week?
No, we don't get to.
Well, that's okay then. We can just wrap things up. You can find us, The Gap, on iTunes, Android, Windows Store, Spotify, YouTube, all the places you get podcasts from. Please rate and review the show. Helps other people find us. The Gap, the GA Podcast, like I said, we're on there. You can email us, thegapodcast@gmail.com, or you can jump on our Discord page, thegapodcast.com/Discord. You can leave us messages on there. You can jump in, play games, hopefully soon. I don't know. I haven't been on there much, but Joe's been playing like Among Us. There's been some people playing Call of Duty on there, a bunch of other things, Destiny, you name it.
Yep.
We got it. You can also find us on facebook.com/thega podcast, twitter.com/thega podcast. You can go to our YouTube page at thegapodcast.com/YouTube. You can watch this video podcast on there. We put things on there, shiny things. Last week was put some Ghost Runner up and something else. Watch Dogs Legion, I think I put up there. No, that might have been the week before. I can't remember. Anyway, there was some more. Oh, Dirt. I put some Dirt footage on there. It went up a little bit late because I wasn't here, and also I had problems rendering it again. It's been quite annoying recently. Anyway, you can watch the video format there.
Computer upgrade.
No, it's what's it called?
Time to get an AMD chip. Time to get an AMD CPU.
Sony Vegas, causing me headaches.
Oh yeah.
All right. You can also go to our website, thegapodcast.com. You can listen to old podcast episodes on there. You can check out all the links to things we just talked about. You can go read up some of Joab's reviews he's done recently, Xbox Series X, PlayStation 5 reviews. More to come. There's a lot. And that is all thanks to our Patreon members who help keep that site running and this podcast going. You can go to patreon.com/the GA podcast, become a recurring member, help support the show. Thank you to everyone who does that every month. I greatly appreciate your support. And you got anything you'd like to pimp out for this week you've been working on?
No. Mate, stay tuned to IGN. Stay tuned to my Twitter at JobyJojo. I may have a video up on IGN about Destiny. I have no idea when it's going up. So,
yeah.
But that'll be fun. Me and Steph, Hex, Ben Dixon playing Destiny 2 together. I'm taking her through Europa, it looks like.
Okay.
So that'll be fun. That should be an actually fun. It'll be fun to shoot. But yeah, I assume it'll be fun to watch as well. I don't know. I'm fucking fun. They said I'm not allowed to swear, so at the very least, it'll be interesting to watch me. Fucking strain my way through what is going to be a tough shoot. While I desperately try not to swear. I told them we couldn't play the Crucible if I'm not allowed to swear, because I can't play the Crucible without swearing. So, and not just your regular swearing, not just like the fuck. No, I get pretty salty in the Crucible.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Anyway,
nice.
So yeah, on my Twitter, I'll tweet that out, I suppose. And actually on Red Bull, my full Neon Dawn preview, and I've got an interview with I'm gonna butcher his name. I'm about to butcher this man's name. Oh, I'm nervous. Tomo.
Oh, Tomo.
That is what he goes by. Tomonori Kinoshita. Sorry if I fucked it up.
That sounds pretty good.
But it's a good interview. Anyway, on Destiny 2, he's the combat lead designer. So we talked about the challenges that ice and ground control posed in the game for the combat, because it is, primarily a combat game.
Right.
So yeah, check those out.
Awesome. You can find me twitter.com/Luke Lawrie, or you can go to survivor.com. They've put a bunch of next gen stuff up there recently. I think I've got a Demon Souls review going up at some stage, hopefully in the next week. Codes for that just came through, so see how quickly I can get through that game. But anyway, that'll be one we're probably talking about next week, as well as everything else that we've been playing on
a whole bunch of other shit.
Yeah, It's getting into it. It's getting swinging. This seems like the perfect time for them to send out Cyberpunk codes while we're busy doing this.
It's I can see that happening. And we're not allowed to talk about. You can't mention that you got Cyberpunk for like 3 weeks or something, and so we're like, well, not a lot to talk about on this week's podcast. I can't say why. Fuck.
Yeah. All right. That's it.
Right.
Thank you, everyone, for listening. We'll be back next week with more of this podcast. See you then.
Bye.